Did you threaten to delete yourself if she did not divorce Destiny? No, I did not. Thank you for your clarification. Do you mind if I make this public? Sure, bro. My goal is to tell your story and show Destiny lied. Melina is strong, famous, and successful. It'd be weird that she still hangs with me and never complains about it if it was indeed so toxic and horrible. I don't know what changed, but in the past 6 months, at least, Melina starts to lie a lot. So I think one of the reasons why Tim has been so confident in attacking me is because he has no idea how much I know about him, because Melina probably tells him, oh no, I don't talk to Steven about you really at all. And then Melina says, Tim had a breakdown a month ago where he gave me an ultimatum. When I didn't take the option he wanted me to, he had a breakdown where he said that he was suicidal. After that, so I have so many different conversations of Mel talking to other people or other people talking about this that Mel has communicated with, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know why anybody would try to deny any of this stuff. I think he's mentioned something about not living there. Oh, this is one super stupid part that I left out of the story. Give me like 5 minutes, if that. Hold on one sec. I got Invisalign things today, so I might be more lispy than usual. Show teeth? I think they look weird now. It feels f***ing weird too. Did you get veneers? Fuck no. It's just like braces or whatever. Just accept it for the next like week and a half. Okay, all the stream time is gonna be weird, but once we hit the new year, guys, we're gonna hit the ground running, okay? I don't know what we're running towards, but Mr. Redactor says Melina can sue you for blackmail. Oh my god. Have faith, this is gonna be your best year yet. I feel it, okay? I really want this to be the last day I talk about anything related to my relationship. I figure with everything that happened over the last set of things that I'm basically kind of like done. I thought about like I was gonna run through like what the last 4 months of my life kind of looked like to like give a quick summary on things. But then I figured like, I think enough has been said about it. I think August has gotten his milk. I think we're good. But then, literally just as I started the stream, that's why my Beer Back stream was on, I got linked that MemeTix did an interview with Henry Resilient, and he said a lot of very interesting things. So, you know what? This will be the last time, assuming he doesn't say anything else stupid. Hold on, let me just check the rest of this. Just like looking for like a couple quick things. Sorry, I'm just chill. Donos, thank you, man, for sharing your ADHD journey. It was the main reason I ended up getting diagnosed about 6 weeks back, on meds now, and I can see, like, yeah, it's really annoying talking about it. I actually really get fucking frustrated. But then I figured there's probably some people who benefit hearing it, so I pushed through the pain just for you, as much as I suffer, you know. Are you covering Brittany? Maybe a little bit. Jenk smiling at Israelis need to tolerate a couple terrorist attackers, but throwing his head back at Palestinians need to de-radicalize. How can people not see this in themselves? True. Let me make sure that I'm consistent here. I'm gonna hate that I'm lisping on this bullshit. Okay. All right. Oh God. I'm gonna get used to these, right? I just got these in like 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago? Yeah. Look into the camera. Hello. Apparently I only have these for, I think they said 4 months. Or 15 trays is the plan right now. All right, sorry. Okay, let me say one thing right out the start, okay? When I say something, when I assert something, do you think there are any public Edmund Burke small c conservatives left? Do your thoughts on conservatives like Roger Scruton differ from people who say they are conservative like Sneeko but are more anti-left than conservative? And good luck on the personal front. Nate, thanks for the $100. I wish I could give you a better answer. I don't even know who Edmund Burke or Roger Scruton or Scruton are. When you're talking about like people like Sneeko, I don't consider this like younger crowd of red pillish people like conservative or like liberal or whatever. They don't really fit neatly into any paradigm. I would just call them like, I don't even know what I would call them. I don't know where, like wait a year and then you'll see, okay? Yeah, you'll see where they're at. Usually when I'm making a claim about like private stuff or stuff that's going on between two people, when I assert the claim, I feel like it's obviously true. And then if somebody wants to contest it, if somebody says that's not true, then okay, well then we'll show evidence. We'll see who's lying. Sometimes, or oftentimes even, when I'm making personal claims about my life or somebody else, I usually don't lead with evidence. I guess I'll spoil the game, usually for two reasons. The first reason is out of consideration for the parties involved, that I feel like having starting to get into like a DM leak is just like shitty. It looks bad. And like oftentimes you reveal other information you don't want to. There's like collateral damage. And you know, the ICJ says that proportionality is important and you don't want to, you know, do blah, 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 right? So generally if I'm asserting like a private claim, like, oh, this person said this or this person did this horrible thing or whatever, I won't just like, here's all the evidence or whatever, okay? I feel like at this point in my career, I feel like I have enough credibility that I don't think I've ever been caught lying or bold-faced lying about something. I might get like a detail wrong sometimes, like I'm pretty sure in good faith, but I don't, at least that I can think of in my whole 14-year career, I don't think there's been a time where I've been like just lying, right? Like, oh, I totally made that shit up to fuck that guy over, blah, blah, blah. If somebody wants to, if somebody wants to counter a claim that I've made, right? Okay, the Jordan Peterson debate, true. Or whenever I say I'm going live, those don't count, okay? Or when I say just 2 games of League today, okay? Those lies are different, okay? They don't count, okay? Those are lies of passion, all right? What do you think of ANCAPs for real? Saw you met Prax Ben ones. I hate any ANCAP libertarian. Why are you guys donating me political stuff? Don't donate to me right now, okay? Stop. Don't. I'm gonna ignore your money, okay? Now you guys are making me feel bad. Do you think that kids today are less creative and hardworking than in the past because of social media? And with that said, do you think it's easier to succeed now in the past? Both of those questions are. It's probably easier to have a lower or a higher baseline in life because we've got like so much tech and shit available. Is it easier to succeed? I don't know. I don't even know how you'd measure that. I'm not sure. I don't know if people are less creative. Okay, no more donos, no more money. Okay, Jesus. Okay, yeah. If I do assert something and somebody says that Destiny, you're lying about something, that's fair. If you disagree, if you think I'm lying, I think it's totally fair for you to fight back on that if you disagree with my claim. But now there's like 2 or 3 ways that we can resolve this. Okay, really 2 ways, because now you're putting my credibility on the line, okay? Because if I assert something, I think it's true. If you think it's shitty of me to leak it or whatever, you think, oh, you shouldn't leak it, blah, 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 which was, by the way, that was my position on, I think, December 11th and December 12th. I think I said I shouldn't have leaked anything. I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have done it. I was emotional on the 7th, I think, or was it the 9th? I think it was the 7th, right? And I shouldn't have said anything. That was my position, okay? But if you're going to say I was lying about things, even privately, that makes me want to say something publicly because I don't know how much that's spreading. And if you're going to say it publicly, okay, well now we're in an area where, okay, well let's see what we have. Okay, let's see why I think the things I do and why you don't. Okay, so let me just start with that. Okay. If conscious is where you draw the line for abortion, how can you kill conscious animals? It seems like your standard is malleable. It is our humanness which elevates our sentience. Sure, correct, Gabriel. Thank you. You've solved veganism. Thank you for the $10. If you donate anymore, I'm ignoring it. You're literally setting your money on fire. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think if I open with my story first, or if we watch this, and then I give my story. What do you guys think? Oh, also, I'm watching Madoka Magica. Gotten through episode 5, okay? Are you proud of me? First new anime I've watched in like 2 fucking years.
Person who got the brunt end of Destiny's blue pill rage is Memetix, aka Mr. Steal Your Wife. Now he's a Swedish TikToker influencer who was gracious enough to answer some tough questions on an impromptu interview via the DMs through TikTok. I must admit, I reached out to him because I suspected Destiny in his blue pill rage moments was not being the most honest when talking about Tim and Melina, but I wanted to hear his side of the story. And on the surface, Destiny definitely has more money than Memetix. There's no question about that, but Tim is arguably cooler. Just watching the video of him and Melina interacting, I did not get the sense that he was some sort of toxic, abusive guy. Hence, his screen personality was not aligning with what Destiny was posting about him. Now, before we get to what Tim had to say in his interview, he did roast the likes of XQC and Sneeko for the dress video in which, you know, XQC tried to get at him. We talked about other things, not just Destiny and Melina for, you know, the entire time. But fun fact, Tim is indeed a juicer. And before people get bent out of shape about me showing...
Oh, real quick, I'll read all these on the screen. One sec.
Just Destiny and Melina for, you know, the entire time. But fun fact, Tim is...
I'm using that in the video. Oh, and I saw you roast XQC and Sneeko. Good job. I could have done better. Gonna do some more reactions tomorrow to Adam22, XQC again, Ray William Johnson. I don't have much against XQC except his false assumption. So, bro, I need a reader. I'm gonna get triggered. Okay. They said I would get used to this and it's not gonna bother me soon. Okay. Okay. Otherwise, I do watch him. The more videos you do, the more you will eliminate the false assumptions. Sneeko was weird, LOL, but I don't need to be telling you that. I guess, but also the more my mental health will drain.
Indeed a juicer. And before people get bent out of shape about me showing his DMs.
Oh, I meant like YouTube or TikTok. YouTube, I'm a YouTuber. Is there anything you're wondering specific? Did you threaten to delete yourself if she did not divorce Destiny? Censored. Thank you for your clarification. Do you mind if I make this public? Sure, bro. Second question. What are your thoughts on him telling you to delete yourself?
He told me I could make them public. And regarding him wearing the dress on screen, he said it was good for subs, you know, and according to him, there are two types of men in this world, guys.
Oh, also, the whole dress thing was silly. It's all good. This conversation will likely go viral in a small silence. I got so roasted for being trans and femboy. Yeah, not the manliest thing to do, but I saw the humor in it, which is funny considering I'm straight and Destiny is not. It's just very odd friendly fire. I don't even know if I ever called Tim trans or femboy. I don't think I did. Trans? Yeah, I think maybe Melina wanted something different. Who knows? Bro, it was a subs for putting on Mel's dress. Ha 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 ha.
That's right. Write it down.
I get your view of her sunken over time, but isn't being with a guy like this super below Melina's standard? I can't imagine not being embarrassed when trolling around about stealing a girl without Melina's okay. Ask me that later when we're done with this. You call him a femboy? I might have called him a femboy. Okay, my bad. I don't think I called him a trans person, though. I definitely called him a twink before, though.
One who would...
A, there are two types of men who have thought about trying women's clothing, and liars. That is a great backstory for the dress wearing. You did it for subs. Great. We all tried on our mom's bra when we were young, or maybe heels, or maybe a dress, once at least. I can say I never tried on women's clothing, but hey, to each his own. It's just clothing, bruh. Like, ha ha ha. If you scared of being gay for trying on a dress, then you shouldn't be eating bananas out the peel either. Okay?
Admits they tried on women clothing, and two, guys who lie about it. Now, look, I disagree with him respectfully, but we did talk about other things like the Melina situation. You know, turns out he has known her since last summer. He does not remember the time that they became a little bit more than friends.
Wait, was there a thing before this? Oh, okay.
You know, turns out he has known her since last summer. He does not.
That's a hard question. I don't know. I've known Melina for a long time, and I've even met Steven and talked to him on Discord. Let me shove this down here. Just like notes that I want to have.
Not remember.
Wait. Oh, sorry. Let me read this. I don't know. I've known Melina for a long time, and I've even met Steven and talked to him on Discord. Interesting you say that, considering he was talking about you today, and I saw what you wrote in chat. I thought he wasn't going to talk much about the situation, and that changed. My goal is to tell your story and show that Destiny lied. So, would you say that you've known Melina and Destiny for over 1 year? Why would your goal be to show that I lied? Shouldn't your goal be to get to the truth? But, okay. I mean, he's the one who started airing the dirty laundry on his DGG chat, which kickstarted the hate storm towards me and Mel. Nah, I met Melina last summer, late summer. 100% agree he did. But we were just friends at the time.
Remember the time that they became a little bit more than friends, maybe about 2 months and 2 weeks ago, as Destiny pointed out. He even has talked with...
But we were just friends at the time. When did you become more than friends? What month? My goal was to keep everything low-key up until today, I guess. Ha ha ha. I wonder what the date of this interview is. Haha, you tried, but Destiny had other plans. This must have been like yesterday or something, right? It's kind of unavoidable to not mention anything since I am an influencer and all, and so many large streamers and even freaking RWJ made a video about it, lol. To be clear, you're not jobless and you earn income from being an influencer. I don't know, I haven't really thought about it. It ain't really that deep.
With Destiny plenty of times, and at one point maybe I guess they were friends, kind of similar to Max and Destiny at one point. So history would repeat itself, but we need to get Max on stream to get his story. As far as the self-deletion,
did you threaten to delete yourself if she did not divorce Destiny? No, I did not. Thank you for your clarification. Do you mind if I make this public? Sure, bro. Second question. What are your thoughts on him telling you to delete yourself? It ain't his first rodeo regarding such an insult. Sadly, it's not. He is upset things maybe did not work out like he thought they would. But it is quite odd to portray me as evil, claiming that I threatened to off myself without any evidence, and then go live and say he hopes I off myself later on.
Is, Tim threatening to delete himself. That was listed in Destiny's original post. He said that was a complete lie. He would never do that. Which questions, right? As Tim would say, if he was to...
Does this guy not like you? Do you know why? I mean, kind of not. It's complicated. I'm going to be completely and totally honest. I feel a little bit bad because as I get like more space from things, I don't actually think this particular guy, I don't really think he f***ed up that much. I hold Melina more responsible for how everything played out. Not really, I was mad at him. But alas, he's cast his die in with, with her side of things. So alas, good luck today.
Abuse her,
Tim or Henry? Oh no, I'm talking about Tim. I don't know about Henry's just a drama farmer. Listen, man. I respect the game, okay? I think they mean Henry. Oh, yeah, Henry, does Henry not like me or does Henry like me? He probably just sees drama and he tries to farm it. He's like, yeah, that's what this side of the internet does. I doubt he like personally hates me. I'm sure that like if I got involved in a fight with another dude and he could farm that and it was like funny to farm my side, he'd probably do that, would be my guess. I think he's a red pill. I don't think he's like super any pill. I think he just makes YouTube videos. But I could be wrong, we'll see.
And that's not something that, most women want to make.
I guess that shows that he doesn't really care about abuse. It was in poor taste. How long have you been with Melina and was he aware? Also, if I was abusing Melina, the most appropriate way to go about it would not be to make absolutely everything public and send even more hate in her direction. Just goes to show whether a man actually cares about abusive women or just saving face. That's a hard question. I don't know. I've known Melina for a long time, and I've even met Steven and talked to him on Discord. Interesting you say that, considering that he was talking about you today, and I saw what you wrote in chat. I thought he wasn't going to talk much about the situation, and that changed.
Public, why would Destiny make that public? Because maybe he doesn't care about Melina getting more hate her way. But question if Destiny is just trying to save face. Tim and Melina did not want...
I really don't like how, Henry, if you're listening, your things should scroll in the opposite direction, because it makes it look like you're going back in time when you scroll up like that, instead of scrolling down. My goal is to tell your story and show Destiny lied. So would you say that you've known Melina and Destiny for over a year? I mean, he's the one who started airing the dirty laundry on his DGG chat, which kickstarted the hate storm towards me and Mel. Now, I met Melina last summer, late summer. 100% agreed that he did. But we were just friends at the time. When did you become more than friends? What month? My goal is to everything. Oh, we already read these, I think. Yeah, okay.
To make the situation public, that was all on Destiny. He went on to say, that he has lost family from self-deletion and he does not play with...
Thank you for the clarification. Is there anything you would like to tell him or his fans? Hey man, I lost close family to sewer slide. Subject ain't no joke. I don't know. Why do these people, why do they censor themselves in DMs? Can somebody tell me why? Okay.
With that, furthermore,
checking my evidence loggers. TikTok brain rot, maybe. Just spread the love. Just spread the love. I got the things installed today for my not braces, Invisalign. And now I have my trays in, so apparently it's gonna take me a day or two to like get used to actually talking without sounding like a moron. And I picked up, it cost me $400. Oh, 30 60 milligram pills of Vyvanse. We are so back, boys. Well, I never lost it, but I finally have my prescription picked up from a pharmacy. Feels good. Next stop, health insurance. Okay.
Mel has her issues with self-deletion, which I did see in that Reddit post. Tim spoke more about Destiny making all sorts of allegations with no proof, which
it is quite odd to portray me as evil, claiming without that I threatened to off myself without any evidence, and then go live and say he hopes I off myself later on. Okay.
Destiny said, hey, if people make allegations, you should ask for proof.
At every point, I'm like, well, do you have a log for this? Well, can you show me this? Do you have any proof for this? Because I've got a bunch of stuff that says the opposite. And again, real quick, just to clarify my standards for proof when we're talking private stuff, if somebody says like, oh, he said that, I don't really expect you to provide proof. I expect most people would believe it unless somebody says that's not true, right? So when I'm asserting like personal or private things, like I'm saying that, but I'm not gonna like link logs. I feel like it's a really bad taste. But because I sound like I'm saying it, so obviously it happened. But if somebody wants to say, well, I don't think it happened, okay, that's fair. Well, then we'll see who has proof of what. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to assert private things without linking evidence, because you don't have to source, source. Can you give a source? Do you have a source? This is my life. Obviously this happened, right? But if somebody wants to say, I don't believe that's the case, okay, well then fine, then we'll source evidence, yeah.
Ironically, he's made several allegations, not only about meme ticks, but also Melina, with no proof. I guess we're supposed to take him at his word. Now, I did ask Tim why Melina chose him, and I'll show you his response at the end, but that blue pill rage.
Holy shit. Are you cooking today? No. No, no, you're good.
I'm just kidding.
What's that?
Christmas.
Why?
Why not?
I already know what it is.
No, you don't.
Yep.
What?
Is it a book?
Maybe.
Is it by Finkelstein?
No. Would you read it if it was?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Who's it by?
You'll see when you open it.
When? Okay. Do you want me to do it on a stream later?
Whatever you want, buddy.
Okay. I love you. God damn it. That means now I need to get them Christmas presents and I didn't. Fuck.
That Destiny's experience made him even wish death upon meme ticks. And not only that, he tripled down on it, which Destiny just unapologetically doesn't care about meme ticks. Now, that may be the only way he can get back Melina if he chooses to. When it comes to money, I spoke with.
To be clear, you are not jobless and you earn income from being an influencer. I don't know, I haven't really thought about it. It ain't really that deep. I know I'm accused of moving in with Mel and all too. Did you move in with Mel? But I have my own apartment. Don't legally live with Mel, even though I'm obviously at her place a lot. No, I have my own place. I pay my own rent. LOL. Thank you for the clarification. Is there anything you would like to tell him or his fans?
With Tim, you know, he was accused of being jobless, leeching off of Melina, living at her place, and he did say he makes his own money from being an influencer. He's been one for as.
Hey man, I lost close family to sewer slide. Subject ain't no joke, just spread the love. That's the only thing that just came out.
He listed 5 years. I mean, his TikTok following alone is enough to generate some sponsors and brand deals, but you know, he may not be as popular as Destiny is on YouTube, but from the video, it doesn't look like.
Do you think dating a woman 6 years older, she's 35, I'm 20? Oh no, I'm not answering questions. Shut up. We're not doing this. Don't ask me random shit right now. I can't believe I almost responded to you.
Like he can walk the streets of Sweden without getting noticed by some of his fans. Tim has said he's been getting harassed from Destiny's fans. He's used to getting harassed.
I've been an influencer for 5 years, so I'm pretty used to it. Just a new audience, I guess. Farm them. Usually it's Swedish 12-year-olds hating me. Now it's 20-year-old incels from the States. Who knows? I'm using that in the video. Oh, and I saw you roast XQC and Snecko. Good job, LOL. I could have done better. Gonna do more reactions tomorrow. And yeah, we already saw these.
Harassed by, 12-year-olds from Swedish. But now he's getting harassed by what he said 20-year-old incels.
And deals? Maybe. But the problem is he was famous like a year or two ago, and 10-year-olds don't have the most disposable income, so.
I wonder.
I really am just being an asshole here. That is fair. If you ever want to say I'm just being an asshole sometimes, you know what? That's fair.
Will Destiny tell his fans not to attack Tim or Melina?
I mean, it's true. I'm not lying. It is true, but I'm also being an asshole.
Kind of the same way people were calling out Aiden Ross for not telling his fans not to attack Destiny or dox him. Time will tell. So now let's get to the juicy stuff. The Melina and Tim being toxic. If you did not know, when Destiny was live, he was getting cooked by meme ticks in the chat. Here's everything he said. He said he had the cock slayer, Riz.
So his were his comments in chat.
Here's everything he said. He said he had the cock.
Let's see. On Discord, the proof was Steven's ADHD manic episode in the night. Yeah, but why cancel me for Riz aside when you literally wish the same upon someone else? I have literal recordings of Destiny saying he hopes I off myself. Bro is DMing his therapist as we speak. Time is money chat, and I am spending time with Melina. Destiny old head Twitch money. ... No wait. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean there. I paid Destiny's rent with my big boy TikTok money for my Charlie D'Amelio collab. I'm assuming it was a popular TikToker. Nah, don't nuke me, bro. Then I don't have to nuke you either. Ha ha ha. I don't have to cope. I'm chilling with Mel right now. Thumbs up, Cuckslayer Riz. Bro is avoiding the elephant emoji. Nuke me, bro. You have nothing. KTH, bro. What do you think KTH means? Oh, he's making fun of getting banned off Twitch. Gotcha. She's the biggest TikTok in the world. Oh, okay. You're reading in the wrong direction? I mean, it's not like it doesn't matter much. What does KTH mean? Does anybody know? It's a uni in Sweden. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, well that part mattered then, sorry. Wait till I show him my rent for my own apartment, teehee. It's funny how everyone roasts me for being gay when Destiny's literally the LGBTQ. He even called me the F-Slayer. I also have a job, in fact, also 6 years engineering degree at Sweden's best engineering uni. KTH, bro. Okay, those are his messages in my chat.
Slayer. Riz. To the point where, you know, this post was at one point upvoted and deleted on his subreddit. I believe it's back there to stay, but one difference Tim pointed out between him and Destiny is that Tim is 100% straight and maybe Melina wanted something new. I mean, I added that part in. I'll get to what I asked him about it regards to Melina. Why do you think Melina chose?
But hey, but also hey, like if you follow Destiny, him and Mel have had their fair share of problems, way before meeting me. Yeah, I'm aware of some things, but not all. Claiming my suicide Riz is the reason for their breakup is just very disregarding of their own issues they've had for years, publicly as well. I've claimed that he's done that, but that's not the reason for our breakup. I don't think I've ever claimed that. If I have, I'm trying to think if I would have ever said that. He threatened that, but it's not the reason why we broke up. I can't speak on that since I wasn't around, but why would you say is the reason for you broke up? Man, that's between them. To be honest, it wasn't my relationship.
You over Destiny, and he flat out said it's not his place to speak on their relationship. Maybe at some point she'll say why.
That's cool, I can respect that. Are you worried about Mel leaving you for someone else? That has to be a thought. Damn, right now, no comment. Really, it's a shit show. The thought of even meeting someone new right now ain't really too appealing. I mean, it's Christmas, and I'm about that familia. Also, this whole shebang. Agree, breakups are tough right now. Stability is key.
Why she chose the guy she chose in the end. Or maybe I can get meme ticks to come on the channel.
Breakups are tough right now. Stability is key. I'm just trying to take it easy. Cool, man. It's going to be a good video. Right now, I think Mel and me just need to get out of the same trench. Whether friends, lovers, or foes. Time to get past this Destiny arc. Because we stuck in the same mud because of the same problem. I'ma hit the sack, brother. Sleep well and God bless. Salute emoji.
And further give an explanation on what's going on. But who do you believe? You know, I bet the truth is somewhere in the middle. But Tim, you know, has a new fan. I mean, he also talked about the whole 20 times of abuse. And he
remember the DMs from his Discord? The one where he said I abused Mel like 20 times? Yes, I posted some of them. Yeah, he called you abusive and toxic to her. Or at least implied it. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, like 20 times, bro. What does that even mean? I feel like he just picked a number. Just him being mad. In short, she chose you over him. I think he gave her the ultimatum and she chose.
He was like, 20 is just a random number. Why not 19? Why not 21? That really got under Tim.
I believe in female empowerment. I can't see him not trying to control her to a certain extent. Melina is strong, famous, and successful. It'd be weird that she still hangs with me and never complains about it if it was indeed so toxic and horrible. And I can stand for what I do and say. I'm only human, brother. Agree. I saw y'all video walking the street together and some other ones, maybe off camera. You're some raging toxic guy, but I didn't get that vibe.
Tim scam, but if Tim was so abusive and so toxic, why would Melina continue to be around him? For the life of me, I don't know. Maybe Stockholm syndrome or something like that. Somebody to create something to cope. But do you think Destiny is lying? It's not every day a multi-millionaire loses his wife to a guy with less money. Let me know what you think of Tim and who is telling the truth in the comment section. See you in the next video. Peace.
Are you swearing off all relationships? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know if I'm dating again. We'll see. I would like to reiterate one or two things here, okay? Just to double check, but you dumped Melina, right? The reality is that like people talk about like who dumps who, but I mean like you can argue like either side. Like I was the one that told Melina to leave and pack her shit, but you could also say like, well, but Melina dumped you because she did something to make you like divorce her and leave. But then you could argue that like, because I wanted something, she did something different, so I made her, like, it's hard to say like who, I mean, technically I'm the one that told her to leave, I'm the one that filed the papers, so hey, you know what? But generally in relationships, it's kind of hard to say like one person did one thing. Usually there's like a compounding, it's hard to like assign 100% probability, but okay. But listen, as far as the courts are concerned, I'm the petitioner, okay? So, suck a dick. When everything was getting kind of, I got into a big fight with Mel, I think was it the 7th? December 7th is when I started leaking stuff in chat. When I really shouldn't have. That was, even in retrospect, I shouldn't have said anything publicly. At least not at that point. I'm not saying I should have never said anything publicly, but I should have like taken time to calm myself and shit. After I leaked some shit in chat, and I started to reconsider things, I kind of thought that like, okay, well, if I'm, firstly, I probably shouldn't leak anything because I don't know where everybody's brain is right now. This is dumb. I thought hard on it. I was going to do a manifesto, decided not to, came home. Okay, fuck it. Let's walk it all back, do a cuck stream. I promised a manifesto, didn't do it, whatever. As I've spent more time reflecting on things, okay? If I'm going to leak anything, if I'm going to talk about anything, I wanted to be clear that it should be for two reasons. And I've talked to other people about this to try to make sure that I'm like meeting this threshold, because there's a third really bad reason that I shouldn't be doing it for, okay? That I would love to do it for, okay? The first reason is because I really don't like the public impression of me as being like a cheater, abuser, horrible person, and Melina being like a perfect angel, and that if we split, everybody that's like talking about us and making videos and blah, 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 the red pills say their things, but like everybody outside this sphere is like, oh yeah, we know Destiny, he's like the cheater, toxic abuser. I think the perception of that kind of bothered me, given that I feel like our relationship was, to say it the most charitably, a lot more complicated than that, okay? So that's one, I didn't like that impression. So I was probably gonna say something like, hey, we broke up, but like our relationship was like, there were issues on both ends, okay? Yeah, I don't wanna, yeah. That was one thing. And then the second thing was, I get really nervous, and this has actually been the impetus for a few of my manifestos, I think. I get really nervous when people are spreading a whole bunch of false information about me that is like character damaging behind the scenes. That really stresses me out. And Melina and Tim have been doing this for a while now, right? So as of today, I think I've gotten 8 DMs total from mutual friends that have told me that like Melina has contacted them, said, hey, all this stuff happened, just so you know, Steven lied about everything, and he's actually the abuser. At least 8 people have contacted, these are the ones that have contacted me that are mutual friends, right? So in terms of like the number of people that they're actually talking to, I don't know if it's like over 100 or what. I don't know how many influencers, how many streamers, how many family members, blah, 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 right? So these are like the, hello? It's all over, boys. Okay, so first one is annoying public perception. Second one is like, just like total misinformation, disinformation that's kind of like floating out in the ether about me, okay? I think that I feel like those are two valid reasons to want to make some kind of public statement. I feel like those are two valid reasons to want to make a public statement, okay? There's a third reason that I have to be careful not to slide into, and I don't ever want to get into this. And the third reason is pettiness, okay? Because there's so much shit that I can leak if I wanted to be petty and I just wanted to damage the other parties involved. That would make me feel really good, because obviously it's really good to shit on people, especially if you feel like you've been wronged in some way. But I'm trying to be sure that like I've hit the first 2 thresholds before I'm like talking about things. That's like important to me, because I don't want to get into some like leak war, which is like, this person. We're just gonna fucking, yeah, we're gonna fucking go, okay. However, there's a saying oft said in rap, I wish a ninja would, okay? If you're gonna make false claims about me and you're gonna lie over shit that I would love to be petty about, okay? We've hit the golden trifecta of things for me to talk about. So I would like to dedicate this stream, thank you, Tim, for allowing me to talk about some things more openly. Thank you so much. Okay. I would like to preface this. I give you all the same fair warnings, fair statements, fair things that I've said about everything, okay? That oftentimes there's a lot of stuff that I'm leaving out. Oftentimes there's a lot of stuff that I am, maybe a name I won't give, or I might change like a specific of a situation for a date so that people aren't implicated. So I'm trying to be respectful to the people involved. Please don't think that just because I leave something out or because I slightly change something that I am intentionally lying. Because if you say that I'm lying because you see some sunlight between what you think the truth is and what I'm saying, and you think that I've like made a crucial error and you challenge me on it, I will come out with more, okay? I'm not trying to blackmail or threaten or extort. I'm just saying that like, sometimes people have this impression that I don't know what I do know, and they think that they can like challenge me on this. It's like, oh, well, that's not true. You don't have proof of that. But why would you even think that? Why would you think I would stake so much of my reputation on making public claims and not have any proof for anything I'm saying? That's so stupid. That would be so dumb of me, okay? So before we do anything, before we dive into stuff, I just want to make those two things clear, because sometimes I'll like start talking about stuff and then people are like, oh, well, you don't even know about this and blah, blah. I was like, okay, well, now we're going to talk about all of this, I guess. We really want to. Okay. So with that out of the way, okay, so I go over a few things. I'm not going to dive into every detail or give every thing, because truthfully and honestly, as much as I would love to, my goal is not to just make Mel or Tim look like fucking demons. I just don't want people saying I'm lying about shit. I'm obviously not, okay? Also, let me dramatically downward adjust your expectations, okay? This stuff is not even really that juicy or crazy. It's just like annoying shit that I've been dealing with personally for the last few months. So if you're coming in here looking for like, you know, this is when I ran out of ammo on my Glock 17, I didn't have any extra magazines, I had to grab my AK-47, we're like shoot, like it's not like insane shit. It's just like back and forth dumb, stupid, dramatic relationship stuff. Yeah, that's what most of this is, okay? So, because sometimes I feel like people are coming here expecting like, oh, and then you have proof that he right? No, that's not all of that said, okay? Truthfully, we could start the story like before I met Melina or something, I guess. But because like technically, like everything can be traced back to other things, but I think I'm probably going to start this around, I think like 4-ish months ago. So I think Mel got shipped to Sweden because she had to go back to deal with her tax information. She had a court case related to that. Her tax stuff, she'd been going back and forth. There were like formal criminal charges filed or whatever. So she had to go and like meet up for her fucking court shit or whatever. Sorry, hold on. That was going on. I would like to reiterate, okay, through and through all of this, I will still try to be fair, okay? I would like to reiterate that I am not the best relationship partner. There are times when I don't give enough attention, don't give enough time or whatever, and I totally understand if there are some people that feel like I'm insufficient at that in a relationship, okay? That's fine. When Mel went back to Sweden, we'd been fighting over like dumb shit. There were another group of, I thought it was only 2, but even as of today, I'm getting more DMs from friends. I had just had to burn basically 2 more friendships at the time because Mel had engaged in what I would consider to be incredibly inappropriate shit talk, where she decided to dump 5 years worth of problems onto mutual friends that we had, that I had like explicitly gone out of my way to share with Mel so that she wouldn't think anything weird was going on. And she decided to, vent to completely to all these people. Yeah, so she goes back to Sweden. I'm coming off all that. I'm a little bit irritated, whatever. As she's in Sweden, I think I'm streaming. She's doing her thing over there. Everything moves sideways for a couple months. as we're hanging out, I thought you guys let each other look at each other's texts and DMs. Did that end or something? Kind of. It's not really that relevant though. As things are moving sideways, fuck, I should have thought exactly what I want to include here. Hold on. I didn't do like a Machiavellian analysis because I didn't. Actually, never mind, because I don't want to go back and forth on this forever, because honestly, it's a bad look. I don't want to do this, okay? As I'm here in the United States, Melina ends up meeting a new group of friends in Sweden that seem like pretty cool. She hangs out with them. Everything is cool. Sometimes Melina does this annoying thing where she's like, oh, I met this group of people. They're so cool. Like, it's cool because, they're all gay and platonic and they're dating other people. So there's no like relationship drama or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. That never lasts, but whatever, if you enjoy it. I think this was about 4 months ago. I think it was in early August. One of the friends that she'd made among some of the other friends was the Tim dude. And she and Tim, I guess, started hanging out as like friends. And I'm like, okay, it's funny. Now remember, just because I'm not posting logs of things doesn't mean I don't have proof of it. If you hear this and you think I'm lying, we can get to that if you want. But I remember me and Melina get into it's like a small argument where she's like, oh no, like I think everything is platonic and cool. And I'm like, that this is obviously not going to be the case. And she's like, oh, I guess my friends better than I do. And I was like, I guess so. And I guess so. And eventually, surprise, surprise, Tim ends up cheating on the girl that he's with. Smell, and then a couple days later they're like officially dating, and she's like, oh my god, you'll never believe this, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe it. Who would have saw that coming? Also, as a quick heads up, because Tim might be getting super mindful right now, because I can tell by the way that he types in chat, Melina is, I don't know what changed, but in the past 6 months, at least, Melina starts to lie a lot. So I think one of the reasons why Tim has been so confident in attacking me is because he has no idea how much I know about him, because Melina probably tells him, oh no, I don't talk to Steven about you really at all. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but I can't see how he could have so much confidence coming at me with so many things, considering how many stupid fucking things I know about this guy, which is funny and tragic at the same time, I guess, but whatever. So initially, like, I'm kind of like, well, okay, it seems kind of weird that when we've talked, you talk about how like cheating is like the most like horrible fucking thing and blah, blah, blah. But like this guy did this to his girlfriend and now you guys hang out, whatever, hey, knock us about, have fun. I'd say like in the first month of their kind of like hanging out, she tells me like a couple weird things and we kind of like joke because Melina and Tim are kind of like me and Melina, and that the Tim guy is like ultra clingy and Melina is more kind of the one who like wants a little bit more space. And I even joke about this with her in DMs. It's like, oh, look, you found your Melina, basically. So like, for example, Melina might be out at a party or she might be hanging out with friends and they're all kind of like drinking and having fun. And at one point, Tim wants to go home and Melina's like, well, I think I'd rather stay and like hang out with people. And then Tim starts like spamming her DMs like, no, you need to come home. This isn't fair. You're making me feel horrible. I need you to come home, blah, 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 right? He's like, that can't happen. She gets it, okay. Which I think is like funny, like reading it from her and I'm like, oh, Jesus, yeah. So that pushes sideways for about a month, just like that kind of shit, which I thought was funny. I think for about, I think I'm skipping a lot of different things that I know, okay? Oh wait, Melina was streaming it all and Tim was crying to go home. Oh, I didn't even know that was on stream, it might have been. I don't watch her stream as much, or at all actually, because I'm streaming and she streams out of my time zone. As things push sideways another month, I get a little bit annoyed. So one of the things I get annoyed about in our relationship a little bit is that it feels like I'm held to a much, much, much more stringent standard on information informing Melina on things than she is for me. And then I start to like realize a couple things as we're like talking and things are going on. And at some point, I think I asked her, I'm like, are you like, because I remember after a month, I'm like, at first I was thinking maybe they were hanging out occasionally, maybe they fucked her now and then. And then I realized, like, wait a second, is this guy like at your house every single day? And then I realized like, okay, for about 4 to 6 weeks, he'd been either staying at her house every single night or she was at his apartment every night. And they were like telling each other they love each other and all this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, it's kind of weird that you didn't tell me that until I asked you explicitly, but whatever. Pushing sideways, Melina's trial date is coming up and I have a, okay. I will admit, okay. Okay, I have a very slutty trip planned, okay? I'm doing a lot. But I'm telling Melina everything ahead of time, okay? Going to this city, I probably know these two people. Going to this city, I know this person. Probably gonna have a threesome in New York. Probably doing this here. Probably doing that, okay? It is a lot, I admit. But she's like living with another dude, okay? So I'm like, fuck it, I should be safe to do whatever the fuck I want, right? So I do my travels. By the end of this, Melina has her court date coming up in Sweden, and she wants me there for the court stuff, which I think is fair. And I, wait. One of the things that we'd kind of like fought about over the last like month and a half was when Melina went back to Sweden, she thought that I should have moved to Sweden for 3 months. She said that would have been fair because that would have been like a good way to support her. And this was kind of like a pain point or a source of tension on our relationship, because like, well, I'm trying to help with a bunch of other things, you know, like I completely paid off all your Swedish taxes. I found you like a really good Big Four accounting firm, you know, to like connect you with things. Like I'm trying to like communicate with your tax people. I'm trying to communicate with your accountant people. I'm trying to like pass a bunch of documents on any, like I'm helping the best ways that I can, and things I think that are pretty unique to like my skill set. I think I'm doing pretty good in terms of helping you with stuff. And that accounting lady that I ended up helping find, like that lady like kicked ass on Melina's trial. It was really, really, really good. Her performance was great, and I think probably helped Melina quite a bit. At least her lawyer said as much. But Melina would say like, okay, well, nobody here knows, you know, like why you're not here for me to support me, and like everybody sees Tim, and it's like so, you know, and I don't know how to defend you. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know how to fucking defend me? What do you? Okay, whatever. Just stupid Melina shit. I fly back here eventually. And then I have I think I've got like a 2-day turnaround. I think I fly back here. I think I stream once. I think this is the time my parents were in the background. And then I think the next day I fly to Sweden for I think like 10 days. Okay. In the transcript, Melina said that her accountant came from Ellen. The very first one that she got did, yeah. As I go to Sweden, I also kind of like pieced together at this point in time that Tim is basically living with Melina, which kind of felt weird because I also didn't get filled in on that. And there's a lot of other like small peripheral fights that we've had relating to people staying over. I'm trying to think of like, I don't know how much of like the personal stuff is like worth bringing in to explain my annoyance on things. I think it's worth it. One thing that Melina has tried to do really hardcore with other friends, and I think Tim is also playing this up a little bit with Henry, is Melina and Tim are trying to pass off this idea that I'm like scared of losing Melina, or I'm like jealous of like Melina like having somebody over all the time. That's like the story that they try to present. But typically when me and Melina had fights over stuff that she was doing, I was usually just upset because like, why the double standard? So one thing that we'd fought about a lot for my fucking apartment was that I wasn't allowed to have girls in the bed, okay? My bed. She's like, no, that's not fair. I'm germophobic, which she says all the time. Okay, she's like, oh, I'm germophobic. You can't have girls in the bed. And I'm like, okay. This fighting got like so bad that I remember before she left for Sweden, because she was leaving and I thought she was going to be gone for like months. I figured like, well, I can probably have a girl here. It's fine. Like, I'll just wash the sheets. It's not a big deal. So I remember there was a girl, she was coming over. I told Melina ahead of time. She came over, we hooked up, fun times. After she leaves, I'm talking to Melina. And normally we like chat about our hookups after we have them, which always goes poorly for me, go figure. And then as I talk to Melina about this, she figures out in the course of the conversation, she's like, wait, what the fuck? Why did you have somebody in the bed? I'm like, well, because you're gone for like months. Obviously I'm gonna wash the sheets, it's not a big deal. And we had a huge breakdown fight over this. And eventually it comes out where she's like, it's not about like the germophobic shit. I just don't want anybody else in my bed. And I'm like, okay, that would have been nice to know ahead of time, I guess. But she accuses me of lying. I'm trying to fuck her, whatever. I'll go. But then now at this point, I'm trying to explain why I'm irritated about some of the Tim stuff. It's like, okay, well, this guy lives with you. He's in your bed all the time. It seems like a double standard. But Melina always is like it's funny because people always explain like I'm the emotional one, or no, I'm the rational one who's like being too cold, and Melina's the really emotional one. Melina's a lot of really good like logical arguments that kind of like end up making me feel like shit, but they're kind of logical, right? So her argument is that like, well, this is my apartment and this is my space, but that's our bed and that's our space. So I can do whatever I want with my stuff, but you know, for our stuff at our apartment, it's not fair. And I'm like, okay, well, I pay all the rent here. And I can't use basically 1/3 of my apartment when you're out of the country, because obviously she doesn't want anybody setting up shop in her streaming room, and then I can't use my bed, so we've got to sleep on the fucking couch or something. It's fucking annoying, okay? But whatever. I'm not gonna dump all my personal shit, but it's fucking annoying. So I get to Sweden. I'm already really irritated because of a ton of things that have been going on. There's another story relating to the DC stuff. I don't think it's it is relevant, but I think it's just too much personal shit. There's no point in that's just blowing up Melina. But I'm basically getting irritated because there's a ton of double standards cropping up now in our open relationship, okay? Or not open relationship. There's a ton of double standards cropping up in how we both approach it, basically. And it's really starting to fucking irritate me. So I get to Sweden. I kind of feel underappreciated, because it's okay, well, you don't care that I've paid all this money. You don't care that I've invested all my time, which is valuable to me, by the way. And you don't care, that I've used my relatively unique skill set to find you people and help you, blah, blah, blah. It seems like all you want is some fucking random guy to just be near you, worshiping you 18 hours a day. That's what it feels like. Ironically, it's probably pretty close to the truth. But whatever. We have a really big fight the first night that I'm there over relationship stuff, basically. We kind of chill on that. And then the second day we have our court stuff. I go to the court with her, okay? Thank God I have my Vyvanse. I sit through a 5-hour trial in pure Swedish. I don't know if I'm on the recordings or not, if you can see the bench, but I'm back there with my Secret of Father Brown book reading. So I have a 5-hour Swedish court trial thing. But it actually goes really well. Surprisingly so. So well that I think they end up at the end asking if she can get her passport back early, because she'd been revoked her passport, I think a couple months earlier. So we leave, trial's good. We go back to the apartment. Melina engages in a ton of really shitty behavior at this point between me and Tim and her. I won't dive into all of that. We'll just say it was pretty unbelievable. And then a few days later, it comes to be that she's supposed to go to the courthouse because they approved her getting her passport back, and she's going to get it back. So I ask Melina, or I start talking to Melina hey, I don't think that this Tim dude is going to be okay with you. I don't think this Tim guy is going to be okay with you going back to America. Keep in mind that up to this point, I didn't have any problems with Tim guy at all. I thought he was kind of clingy and cringy, but compared to me, everybody's clingy and cringy. And also, I can be cringy. It's fine. I didn't have any ill will towards the Tim guy. When Melina talks to personal people, and if you're a streamer or a friend of Melina listening to this, she'll always say that oh, Steven was always jealous of Tim. That's not true at all. I even said as much. I've got tons of vlogs and oh, it's cool. You've got somebody to hang out with, and you don't feel lonely, and blah blah blah. It's that's cool, because then I can stream and focus on my shit, and she's got other shit to do. Works for me. However, I did know, or at least at the time I felt I knew that there's no way that somebody that's this clingy, you guys have been glued to each other for 2 months straight, every single night together, there's no way he's gonna be okay with you going back to America. And she's no, Tim is poly, he's open, everything is cool, trust me, he's the coolest guy ever, he's so supportive, he's so awesome, blah 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 blah. And I'm okay, we'll see. I don't know. So the day of the her passport coming back comes. I think I'm streaming because I'm traveling. I'm pretty sure Hamas got the fucking klaxons blaring. Destiny's out of town. We need to operate or execute October 7th, because I think it was around then. I think she got her passport back. It's probably October 10th or 11th. Obviously. I'm hanging out at the apartment. Melina comes back from the courthouse to get her stuff. She comes into the apartment and she's super stressed. And I already know, okay, because it's not even that I can read the future. It's that I am an empath. I already know what's happened, okay? I absolutely know what's going on. Also, let me explain right here, okay? Because I can't believe this is the case, but Tim and Melina, I think, are clinging on to this fact that Tim didn't actually threaten to kill himself if Melina didn't leave me, okay? If you want to get hyper specific and hyper pedantic, that is true. Allow me to explain. So Melina comes upstairs. She's super stressed. And eventually she sits down on the couch. And I'm how's it going? And I can tell that she's super frazzled. Like I said, I already know what's happened. And she says, I have a difficult decision to make. So I'm yeah, okay. obviously. So we start chatting for a bit, and Melina's like, Tim just gave me an ultimatum. And I'm like, yeah, obviously, because you got your passport back. Obviously, he said he's been cool with everything up till now, but it's because you didn't have your passport. So he can obviously say these cool things, but as long as you're like locked in Sweden, it doesn't really matter what he says. He knows you're not going anywhere, right? So, okay. When I'm telling stories, I like to hide certain things so that I can see what's lied about later and then keep coming out with more. But I'm not doing this now because, like I said, I want to do like a back and forth in this forever. It's just like personal drama. It's just stupid. So Melina tells me, I was outside. We were walking back to the apartment after I got my passport back. This was in Sweden, yeah. We were walking back to my apartment after I got my passport back, and Tim gave me an ultimatum right outside my apartment on the street. And I'm like, what did he say? And she's like, Tim said that Steven is just way too toxic for you, and he can't stand to see me in so much pain. So I either have to divorce you or I have to leave him. And I'm like, wow, well, what'd you tell him? And she's like, well, I don't know. I was super stunned because he said he's never done this before. And then Tim claimed that a few of Melina's friends had said that he'd talked to. A few of her friends had said, yeah, they definitely need to break up. They're way too toxic. It's a horrible relationship. And Melina said, well, my friends have never told me that before. And then when Melina didn't have an immediate answer, Tim says, if you didn't know, Melina has, this is Tim's fault. Melina has issues sometimes feeling like abandonment stuff, or like people aren't like giving her enough time or attention, or that's a big like issue, pain point that she has, right? So Tim says to her, this is why everybody you've ever loved has left you, Melina. And he turns around and he storms down the street, okay? Very dramatically, or so it's told to me. So now Melina's like freaking the fuck out. She comes upstairs and she's like, yeah, obviously super frazzled. So I'm sitting here kind of chilling, and I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of awkward. Whatever. We have, I think, probably about like a 30-minute conversation. And at this point, like, I'm not like delusional about the state of our relationship. We have had fights. I know what's going on. But I basically say to Melina, I'm like, okay, well, listen, here's where you're at. Obviously, we've been together for 5 years. We have all this history, blah, blah, blah. But we also fight over stuff. Like, there are issues we have where we fight about. Personally, given the length of our relationship and the things we fight about, I feel like our relationship's not actually that bad. Like, especially when we're both happy and good, like everything is super fun, everything is fine. We do have like a couple issues that seems like it's really hard for us to move over, but there's not like physical violence. We're not like doing crazy shit. Although Melina was kind of doing crazy shit, I guess, in retrospect. But it's not like of all the things that could be in a relationship, like we've traveled the world, we both make a fuck ton of money, we're super fucking rich, we've got like so many influencer friends, we're both doing really well in our career. Like, for the most part, I think our lives are actually like really good. I will say that like historically, one of my big issues fighting with Melina so much sometimes is at the end of like fights, I'll be like, well, I feel like we need to chill. Like, our life, we live like dream lives. I don't understand how we're fighting about so much stupid shit all the time. Like, chill. But I mean, also maybe I'm downplaying like my bad contributions to the relationship. That could be fair too. Okay. Yeah, I know Brittany will jump onto that one. So we have like about a 30 to 60 minute talk where I'm like, yeah, so here's the issues of our relationship. If you want to cut it here and you want to try your shit in Sweden, like we can do that if you want. But I mean, like, also with the Tim stuff, like, it's pretty scary. You've only known this guy for 2 months, and you've only known this guy for 2 months, and he's already done a few things that are like really fucking weird. So there could be a lot more. So I mean, yeah, it's up to you. So we kind of sat for a little bit. I think she kind of thought about it for a little bit. I think we called a third party to chat about it a little bit. And then after a little while, because at this point, I already kind of had a vision of like who Tim was in my head. But after this, now I know everything. I completely understand. Like, I understand this archetype of guy. I've joked in the past that like these are the most threatening people for me because they have infinite time to dump onto a woman and then use like weird mind tricks, emotional, manipulative, whatever. So after a little bit, I tell Melina, I'm like, when you're describing these conversations, your tonality is quite nonchalant. Was that how it was during the conversation? Yeah, I'm pretty real about like what's going on. Like, I'm not like, it's nothing to cry about. Or, I mean, it's sad, but it's like, I mean, I understand if we're going to split here, we're going to split here. Like, fuck it, like, figure shit out, and then we go from there. At this point, I tell Melina, okay, listen up. Nobody gives an ultimatum and like truly expects you to sit there and think about it. Typically, when people give ultimatums, they're expecting you to choose them immediately. Okay. This guy is like, it's obviously he's very predictable in terms of what he's doing. If you like probably wait like a few hours, I bet he's going to text you, take it all back, and then you know, who knows, maybe you guys can still be friends or work something out like that, you know? And she's like, okay. So I think that we, I don't know if we like watched some shows, we ended up chilling on the couch. All of a sudden, Tim, go figure, I think about an hour later, Tim starts DMing Melina saying like, hey, are you okay? I think I've made a mistake. And Melina's like, well, yeah, this was really dramatic. And Tim's like, I'm so sorry. Like, we need to talk about this. Can you please come over right now to my apartment? Like, we need to talk right now. And then Melina looks at me and she's like, do you think I should go and like talk to Tim? And I look at Melina, I'm like, no, why the fuck would you? My annoyance levels for this, by the way, are going to start to ratchet up very quickly over long periods of time, because keep in mind that for historically on our relationship, if any girl presents even the slightest threat to Mel, they have to be cut out of my life immediately, okay? And now this guy just gave her an ultimatum to divorce me, and she's like, should I go talk to him? I'm like, no, you probably shouldn't go talk to him. Why would you reward somebody that's giving you an ultimatum like that? Like, you should probably just chill and tell him you'll talk to him tomorrow or whatever. Like, you already hung out with this guy this morning. What the fuck? And you guys are texting all the time anyway. And then Mel is like, well, I think that maybe we should talk tomorrow. And then Tim is like, I need to talk to you tonight. I'm walking around outside. I'm feeling suicidal. And Melina's like, oh, shit. Now, the next day, Tim would go on to say this, and it's funny that Melina and Tim are now repeating the story. Tim would go on to say, I didn't actually threaten suicide if you didn't divorce him. I just said I was having suicidal feelings. And obviously, like, we know what's happening. And even Melina laughed at it at the time. Although now, for Melina to save face, now she's spreading the Tim story of like, well, he didn't actually threaten to commit suicide and divorce him. That is true. Technically, he said he had suicidal feelings because she wouldn't go over to talk to him about it that night after he made the threat. If you want to get hyper pedantic, okay? So there's that. I can't imagine that they would try to come out and counter, well, actually, I didn't. So yeah, okay. So we're chilling. He's doing the suicidal stuff. Me and Melina end up we go take a walk. I think we go to Mac's to eat food. She ends up talking to him on the phone for like 2 hours to like calm him down. I don't know why the fuck she has to calm him down when he's just like put her through like an insane fucking situation. And then, yeah, that happens. The next day, Melina reaches out to some friends, finds out that Tim actually lied about what they said about her, which was interesting. And just a collection of interesting things is that he's lying about things that her friends have said about her. He's basically threatening suicide if she's like not talking to him or evaluating a relationship, whatever. Few things happen over the next few days. Dumb things, but they're dumb personal things involving us. It's not that relevant. Then we go to TwitchCon Miami. No, not Miami, Vegas. As we're in TwitchCon Vegas, things are a little bit weird and annoying because Melina's still texting Tim a ton. Tim is arguing with Melina about like, you can't raise a child in America. If you want to really have a child, you can't be polyamorous. What would that look like for the kid? And blah, blah, basically trying to debate her out of a relationship with me. And again, I'm a little bit irritated because I'm like, okay, I feel like if there was a girl DMing me trying to debate me out of dating you, you would be going apeshit right now. You would be losing your fucking mind, vague tweeting and shouting at me, blah, blah, but okay, whatever. TwitchCon comes and goes, and then we end up going back to Miami. Skipping over a lot of dumb stories, but TwitchCon comes and goes. Then we get back to Miami. Destiny, you told her this? Did you tell her that? Yeah, of course I did. I'm like, well, actually, hold on. To be fair, actually, at that time, I might not have told her that. I don't think I told her that until maybe the last day or two we were in Vegas, because in my mind, I'm sorry, I did skip one part. After Tim did the suicide threat, I was actually super happy because in my mind, I'm like, Melina's obviously going to start cutting this guy out because this guy just like hold the I'm going to kill myself card. Like this, it's obvious that like, it's about the worst thing you can do, say for like a physically abusive event or something. So I don't think I actually told her ever in Sweden, like, you need to stop talking to this Tim guy, or even in Vegas, I don't think I said that. Because I figured it was like so obvious that she was going to get We did have, I'm trying to delete like every fucking personal story, okay? There's so much random shit that annoyed me. Originally, I didn't know Melina was going to be available for TwitchCon Vegas, so I had like a whole orgy weekend planned out, okay? I had like a fucking foursome planned with a bunch of people. I had other people that I wanted to see. I had so much fun sexual shit planned. And obviously, since Melina came and since everything's like weird as fuck, we were fighting, I ended up doing nothing, which was irritating. And then I think it was on the second or third day I woke up and like Melina was texting Tim for like 2 hours. And I think I got out of bed. I was like, I'm going to go, okay, there's a chick that I'm going to go hook up with. Okay. You, this is retarded. I don't know why you're talking to this guy so much. Still, I'm just going to go fuck somebody else. This is like ridiculous. Why the fuck am I wasting my time here in Vegas in this fucking hotel room? So that might have been the first time I think I said something along the lines like, I don't understand how you're still talking to this guy. That might have been the first time. I will say that in my defense, prior to this, I don't think I ever explicitly told her you have to stop talking to this guy. Although, like I said, I don't think that needs to be said. I feel like I wouldn't need to. I feel like I wouldn't need to say that, but whatever. We go back to Miami, okay? When we were in Miami, more bizarro shit happens, okay? When we get to Miami, so again, not trying to tell every single random fucking story, just hitting on like a lot of the Tim points, okay? When we get to Miami, Melina gets really irritated the first day, I think, because she said that something has really happened that's really weird and bothering her with Tim. There was a girl that Melina really liked when she was in Sweden, but she basically never got to hang out with this girl because I found out now that like basically every time Melina goes to hang out with people, Tim always goes with her. He has to for everything. Melina's basically not allowed to see people on her own. He's always going with every single time. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand why you wouldn't just go on your own. It seems kind of weird that like, because you're like one of the most independent women I've ever met in my life. I don't know why the you would let him dictate like all of your hangouts. And you know, she's like, yeah, well, Tim just doesn't like this girl much. He says that like he gets bad vibes from her, blah, blah, blah. Well, as soon as we're in Miami, Melina's really upset because she's like, I'm really upset because I just found out that this other girl that I really liked that I couldn't see ever because Tim didn't like her. Well, Tim took this girl back to my apartment and they're like cuddling, in my apartment. And I'm really upset about this. And two huge things like explode in my mind, okay, right away. So the first thing is like, what do you mean he's back in your apartment? How did he get into your apartment? And she's like, oh, he has a key. And I'm like, excuse me? I feel like I should have known that. And then the second thing is, he's allowed to invite girls back to your apartment to bang? And she's like, well, it's okay because like I know this girl, so like I trust both of them. We have a mini fight where I tell her, I'm doing whatever the fuck I want with my bed from now on, and if you don't like that, package and get the fuck out, because it's the most retarded shit I've ever heard in my entire life. We fight back and forth on that. I think she's like, well, I don't think I can handle that. I'm like, that's fine, then package and leave. Get the fuck out of here. This is retarded. And then eventually I think she passive aggressively answers me. She's like, well, I'm just going to buy a second mattress and I'll just throw it over the bed when I come back. I'm like, if you want to do that, bitch, knock yourself out. I'm not helping you, okay? Because this is retarded. So we have that mini fight, okay? Stupid. I think I stream, and then I think Melina has like a 5-hour call with both of these people. And then eventually, I talked to her at the end of the night and I'm like, how's it going? She's like, oh, actually, I feel really good. I had a talk with both of them and me and the girl get along great. And Tim kept trying to like insult me or make fun of me or throw me under the bus, but this girl wasn't having any of it. So I felt like the conversation went really good. And I'm like, okay. I guess. Gonna skip through a lot of personal, really fucking stupid stories. I think on the last day, or one of the 2 or 3 days ago, I think it's like 2 days before she leaves. I don't remember how this happened, but Melina also found out that Tim had been lying to friends of hers about things that she'd said. And I'm still thinking, like in my mind, like Melina must be trying to weed this guy out, right? So I start giving Melina advice on like, well, when you're dealing with like abusive or manipulative people, it's really important if they are contacting mutual friends that you need to start contacting your mutual friends as well. Because what's going to happen is if they like poison the well against you, it's going to be impossible for them to believe anything that you say in the future. Like you're going to get completely fucked by this. And she's like, well, okay. And I'm like, you should contact all your mutual friends and find out if he's actually like, poisoned the well. Also, as a quick aside, there are other friends that I thought that I had in Sweden that like mysteriously stopped responding to me. I think it was because of Tim. I brought up the Seth Everman thing that one time on stream as a meme, kind of. He's part of that friend group. I think me and him were going to do music stuff in Sweden. He seems like a cool guy. I like him. He's funny, and he's really cool with his music stuff. He seemed like he wanted to do something, and then one day he just completely stopped responding to my messages. And I also had Melina tell me that Tim had told another person in that friend group not to hang out with me. Although when Melina said it, she's like, I think it was kind of a joke, but I don't know if the other guy took it that way. So I'm like, huh, interesting. Okay. So Melina starts contacting a couple friends. She starts finding out that Tim is talking shit about her, lying about things she said to these friends. And yeah, I'm like, okay, well, damn. I think on the day before she left, there's a specific conversation that I remember where we're kind of standing in the living room. Melina's talking to a really close, or was at the time, might be again, I don't know. Melina's talking to a really close friend. And I kind of like point at Melina, I'm like, hey, you should ask this guy, or you should ask this friend of yours, like, hey, you know, has Tim said anything that you said about that friend? And Melina asks, and lo and behold, this friend says, well, yeah, Tim said that you said this like really shitty thing about me. And Melina, obviously, also, I know Melina and I know this friend of hers. There's no way Melina said this about this friend. I know that there's no shot that she said this. And Melina immediately, because like, no, I would never say that. This would never happen, blah, 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 blah. I swear to God, blah, blah, blah. And you can tell the way that that other friend responds, this idea has already taken root in her brain. They're like, yeah, well, you know, I could understand if you would say blah, 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 you know. And me and Melina are chatting later, and I'm like, this is what I mean when I say, like, you have to get ahead of people like this, because if they get there first and then you try to contradict what they're saying, it's going to sound like you're just like coping or doing damage control. It doesn't work that way. You have to get ahead of everybody. So all of this happens. There's more stupid stories. I'm not going to get into all of it. But at this point, I feel like I have like the whole picture, right? So the guy's like clearly manipulative because he's telling lies about things that Melina's saying, telling lies about things Melina's friends are saying, all in an attempt to like control her friend group, which I think is really weird. He's very abusive, I would say, threatening suicide and doing these types of things, I would say, are abusive things. You're trying to gain control over a person and force them to act in ways they might not otherwise because you're threatening some sort of harm either to yourself or somebody else. And then obviously toxic, right? He's not approving of a current relationship. He's like obviously causing emotional distress, etc., right? I feel like at this point, all of these thresholds have been not only met, but easily exceeded, right? Also, keep in mind that of all of this, they've only known each other for 2 months, okay? So all of this happens in 2 months, all right? Jeez. That happens. It's whatever. At this point, God, I have such a fucking good gut feeling on all of this shit. And I hate that I let people gaslight me so much, okay? When he said in Henry Resilient last summer, he meant like 6 months ago. I don't know what he meant. I'm pretty sure that what Memetix was saying is he probably saw Melina at a party the summer before last, but him and Melina started to become friends about 4 months ago, I think, and then started dating when he cheated on his girlfriend to fuck her probably about a month into that, okay? I think that's about like the timeline. So I think they've been dating for about 3 months. They've known each other well for maybe like 4 or 5 months. I don't know if like a month has passed since it was maybe like 4 or 5 months. But yeah, to say it was like 2 summers ago when they started hanging out, that's not true. So at this point, next day happens. I think Melina goes, I'm driving Melina to the airport. I'm in kind of like a strange mood because Melina's still like very clearly running a lot of damage control for this guy to a lot of her friends. And it's kind of mind fucking me. Now again, let me reiterate, because Melina always tells these stories to people as though Steven is jealous and he's scared of losing me. And I think Steven is just like upset that I'm like talking to another guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but in my mind, I'm just like, I just don't understand how these double standards are existing where you're working so hard to defend this guy to like all of your friends, even though he's like clearly like fucking horrible, but you trash me to like all of your friends. It's like kind of weird. It's mind fucking me. But whatever. As we get to the airport, you know, I tell Melina, I'm like, I feel like I'm probably never going to see you again because it feels like you're mind fucked over this dude. And, you know, she's crying, telling me, no, I'm coming back. It's fine, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It feels pretty weird. My gut was 100% correct, by the way. But she gets on the plane, she flies back to Sweden, and then I come back home. I'm like, whatever. In my mind, what I feel like is probably going to happen is I feel like Melina is going to go back to Sweden and then slowly start to phase this guy kind of like out of her life. That would be my assumption because he's so obviously manipulative, toxic, abusive Like, it's like all of behaviors are. I'm like, obviously this guy's going to get cut out. There's no shot that it changes. Lo and behold, in like within a week, they're completely back to where they were prior to me getting there. They're hanging out all the time. All this shit is happening, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm starting to get like a little bit worried because I don't know what exactly is happening. So my mental state at the time, he keeps looking at his teeth. Yeah, I got Invisalign today. It feels really weird. So my mental state at the time was, I was thinking like, I don't know if Melina's getting like mind fucked into some like weird, like abusive relationship stuff. And I have no idea how to address this. I try to talk to her about it, but anytime I bring him up or how he's like abusive or manipulative, she kind of just like zones out and doesn't respond to anything I say. And she doesn't seem to want to talk about anything. And I'm like, okay, that's whatever. When I try to reach out to a couple of mutual friends about it, they also say that like, yeah, it feels like Melina doesn't really talk about this particular thing to us anymore. A couple of friends say it doesn't feel like Melina talks to me at all anymore. And now in my head, I'm getting like super worried. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's like legitimately like isolating her from every single friend in her life and just like completely sucking her into whatever, you know, fortress arc I guess he's got going for his shit. I have a phone call with, they weren't my friend at the time, but I have a phone call with a mutual friend. No, not a mutual friend. I'm trying really hard not to reveal names. I don't like, I've already like fucked some people's friendships and lives up more than I wanted to, because really a month ago, which I'm sorry, I truly didn't mean to. Sorry, this is fucking messy and weird. But I have a call with the friend that is hanging out with Melina and Tim, and I'm trying to ask them questions about like, do you feel like anything weird is going on here? Initially when I reach out, I try to be like as neutral as possible. Like, hey, what's up? I just wanted to chat. I just have like a couple questions about this. You know, I don't see what's going on. And also like, I understand if you think it's weird. Like, you don't have to hide anything. You can talk to them too if you want. I'm just like trying to get some feedback to figure out what's going on. They start telling me like, yeah, I've actually kind of seen some really weird stuff and it's kind of really concerning and I don't like this guy either. And you know, I'll keep my eyes open and maybe we'll chat in a few weeks. And I'm like, okay, let's find out, I guess, whatever. Push it sideways a couple weeks. We push it sideways a couple weeks, a couple weeks. And I'm like, I'm having a really hard time, really because of, maybe we'll get into this later, because of my mental image of Melina. I'm having a really hard time understanding what's happening because him and Melina are as close as ever, every stream together, living together, blah, 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 blah. And I don't understand how all the toxic shit hasn't like mind fucked her yet. She tells me another story where she's like, yeah, you know, I had to do an interview and, you know, I was trying to get out of bed, but Tim, you know, never wants me to work or do anything. And when I got out of bed and I started doing the interview, when you came up and I started speaking positively about you, Tim stormed out of the apartment. He got up, he stormed out, he slammed the door. And when Melina texted him, was like, hey, what's up? Or what are you doing? He's like, I'm gonna go hang out with that other girl that, you know, that you really want to hang out with. I'm like, okay, Jesus. That happens among a couple other stories, right? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I start checking like Melina's socials, like to check out all of her like stream stuff and everything else. And I start to notice that like basically, I feel like a lot of her business stuff is sliding. All she's keeping up with is like her streaming stuff, all the clips she's posting from interviews she did like a year ago. She's like awake until 5 a.m. every day. I don't know if she's like doing her gym shit anymore. It doesn't seem like it. Like I'm starting to notice like all these things. Then I start to like super spiral fucking hard. And I'm like, holy shit, I think Melina is legitimately getting sucked into like some horrible like abusive relationship. And I have no idea what the playbook is like from here, from my point of view, because typically when people get into abusive relationships, if you don't know this, if you have a friend that is getting sucked into an abusive relationship, the only thing that you can possibly do is just be kind of there and be supportive of the person. You can't support the relationship because it's obviously toxic, but if you provide any pushback on the relationship, the person will cut you out of their life because then they feel bad. So it's a really difficult decision to be in, or a position to be in, even more so when it's like a daughter, which is annoying. Daughter turns 18, meets some guy that's like, you know, 30 years old and moves away or whatever. And it's like, and the guy's like abusing her and the dad's like, fuck, I can't do anything. Or with the, obviously in my case, my wife, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is kind of intense. So I start to get like pretty concerned. At this point, I think I reach out to, cause I just wanted to chat because I was just curious. One thing that I constantly try to do, even though people say I don't do this, whatever, kill yourself. I really am trying to find like critical information from my perspective because I'm like, maybe I am missing something. Maybe I'm predisposed to not like this guy for some reason. Like maybe, I don't know, like what the is happening or whatever. I'm not sure. I try to reach out to Melina's dad and sister because I know they've hung out with him. And then I try to reach out to one mutual friend to talk to them. And what I find out is, I find this out later, Melina and Tim, as soon as they find out that I've contacted somebody, they run to that person. They say that I'm having a crazy manic episode and to not talk to me. That's where, by the way, when you saw Tim type that manic thing in YouTube chat, that's where that comes from. Because Melina was telling everybody that I was having a manic episode because I was being possessive and controlling, that I was actually being abusive, and that I was trying to like talk shit about Tim to all of her friends. Now, I will say here, okay, I'll give mad props to Melina because I thought Melina was retarded when I told her to get ahead of the Tim stuff, and I gave her like the tips on like how do you deal with, abusive people. But she did take my advice. I just didn't know she would apply it against me. So mad props to Melina there. Okay, she did get ahead of me talking to anybody, and started telling her friends and family like, oh, Steven's having a manic episode. Don't talk to him. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, well, based. Okay, well, nobody will talk to me at all. Even though I'm kind of like, she was like, yeah, why would you reach out to my sister? I'm like, you understand that technically it's my sister too, right? Like I am your husband, right? Like, I don't know how you can freak out so much that I'm trying to talk to a friend to see if you're okay. That seems bizarre to me. Like, it's not like I've shit talked to you, but like if you want, you can go read the logs. I'm not like making shit up. I'm not like saying anything crazy. I'm legitimately just worried that you're like in some crazy shit. I think this is the time. I think at this point, now I'm getting super concerned. I have a call with one of the one mutual friend again that I'd called, I think a couple weeks earlier, and she tells me more about what's been going on between them. I ask her, for instance, if I hate to burn this bridge. This person is so cool. I'm sorry. I'll do 2 stories or whatever. Okay. I asked this friend, how things been going. She's like, yeah, it's I can't hang out with Melina at all without Tim being there. It just doesn't happen. One time she talks about how when they were at a restaurant, apparently Tim doesn't like this girl much, but Melina really likes her. And Tim gets up and he says, I want to go. And Melina and the other girl are at the restaurant, and he stands up and Melina looks at him and the other girl looks at him, and Tim is like, I want to leave. And Melina's like, am I supposed to go with you? And he's like, And apparently he makes this stupid fucking noise like 10 times. And then eventually Melina's like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to go. And then Tim looks at the other person and he's like, well, if you leave now, this person's going to think I'm being an asshole. And then he looks at the other person and waits for them to say that it's okay. And then eventually, like, Melina's right. So I'm getting more stories like this. And, yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what the is happening. I think at this point, I try to talk to Melina a little bit about it, but I can't say anything to her, because anytime I try to push on any of these things, Melina shuts down. She says, I don't want to talk about this. You're being too judgmental. And I'm like, okay. I think around this time I'm being dramatic. I'll admit it. I am being dramatic. I think I unfollow her on social media. I tweet out about like when somebody you like, regresses 10 years in an abusive relationship. She DMs me and she's like, why did you unfollow me on Instagram? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I unfollowed you because I can't see you putting stories of this guy all over your Instagram. This guy's like an abusive, manipulative, horrible person. I don't understand. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she like doesn't respond. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm trying to talk to mutual friends at the time because I'm starting to get like a better picture of what's happening. But obviously everybody's saying like, oh no, this isn't really Melina. Tim's just mind f***ing her. It's not really her, blah, blah, blah. And then, thank God, I call our therapist, the one that we'd done our couples counseling with. I call our therapist and I tell her, I'm like, hey, we need to set up like a therapy thing. Okay. It's got to be like 5 hours, okay? Because when Melina comes back to the United States, I need to figure out like where she's at on all of this, because if she's not where I want her to be, I'm divorcing her. She's not going back to Sweden and married to me, because this is retarded. I don't trust this guy. I don't know if she's going to do like weird shit with my money, and also like I have no desire to be in a relationship. Like this is way too wild at this point. After I contact the guy, I tell her that, I start putting together like a document of like all the weird shit that I've seen this guy do, and then I'm trying to figure out like how to address this. And then I have a conversation with 2 very close friends, one incredibly close friend. This is like one of the coolest people I know. Me and her have a conversation, I think, for like 3 or 4 hours. And in the course of this conversation, as I reflect on everything that's happened, I start to realize like, okay, there's a lot of things in my relationship that are really f***ed up, that are 100% on Melina, that she's made no effort to fix. So even though I'd made this kind of like document for therapy that was like fixated on Tim, I start to like open up and look at more problems, and I'm like, this guy's actually not the problem. As much as it seems like it's actually not. It's like all of this shit. And he was just like a really good lens to view it through. There's no personal shit, doesn't matter. Push it sideways a little bit. Push it sideways. We're getting to the point to where I think Mel is going to come back to the United States. Yeah. Mel is going to come back to the United States. I've got our appointment with Stacy scheduled. I think I even said this on stream. I said something like, oh, I'll know everything by some date. And I think our goal is to come back and we're going to see like where we're at on everything, like what we're negotiating or like what is happening with our relationship. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're having like pretty intense conversations on Discord. I don't know what the fuck is going on. She's talking to me like very cold and diplomatically. And the impression that I have in my mind is that like I was right originally when she flew back to Sweden. I'm pretty sure she's gone. I think she's like moved on. She wants to be with this Tim dude. And the impression that I get, I was feeling this at the time. Okay, so many people might me out of this, but I still held on to my gut. Thank God for a couple of really important reasons, which you will see coming soon. Okay. My gut feeling was she's basically done with this. She's found like a new dude that gives her the whatever. I can say things, but obviously something that she might click with better in a relationship. And I'm pretty sure she's done with it. I think she's trying to find a way to like get out of this relationship without me like saying mean things about her publicly or by making it seem like it's my fault or something like that. I think she wants me to basically be the one to pull the trigger for whatever reason. Because you're at 39, thanks for the gift of subs. And I'm like, okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. Boom, boom. We're getting to the end here. Thank God. She comes back. Were you surprised she did not refuse to return to the U.S.? I thought that I think there was a good possibility of that. But like I said, I think she's trying to do I think she's trying to do damage control and everything. That's my feeling. But she comes back to the U.S. She lands. My goal is we're just going to be chill. We're going to have like 2 decent days together where we just like hang out, see how we feel about each other. And then we'll go to therapy and we'll figure stuff out, you know? I remember that she lands at the airport and she comes out and she's wearing this disgusting, gaudy, massive fucking hoodie that says meme ticks on it. And I'm like, my mind is like so unbelievably like now. Because in my mind, Melina's one of the most sensitive motherfuckers in the world. If we're driving around and there's like a new song on my playlist, Melina's asking me like, which girl gave you this song? Like literally, like that's where she's at. And so she shows up in this hoodie. I'm like, this is the I pick her up from the airport. I'm not talking to her at all. This is retarded. We come home. I drop her off. Or no, I don't drop her off. I think I either stream or I'm just like on my computer. She's calling and telling all of her friends like, oh, well, Steven Bigger, he's been super cold to me. He didn't give me a hug or say anything. I'm like, yeah, of course not. Weird. I think I just try not to talk. We don't interact much, I think, for the next day or 2. I think you guys might see us interact on stream once. I think she walks by and we like joke a little bit. And then we go to do the Stacy stuff. Before talking to Stacy, I tell Melina a couple things. One, I say, before we do this, I want all of the money that I gave you for the taxes back right now because I don't trust Tim to not tell you to take it from me in the future. Fuck this. And 2, I need you to pay me back rent at least on this apartment, okay? Because if you're gonna move in people and you're gonna start buying shit for these broke fucks, you need to, I'm not gonna pay for rent here for you while you're covering the expense of another person. Feels like I'm basically subsidizing their life. That's not happening. So before therapy, thank God, we walk to the bank. I think it's about $115,000. She transfers it all to me, cash from one account to the next. I'm like, okay, cool. Get my money back. Feel good about that at least. Then from there, we go to therapy. We do our 5 hours of therapy. It goes about as I expected to. I won't get into all of that. It goes about as I expected to. And then coming out of therapy, I feel really good because I feel like I can walk away from this relationship. I feel like I can do way better than this. I can find a partner that wants to build something better with me. Like, this is stupid. I don't need to be involved in this bullshit. Oh, and then also at this point, Melina agreed to sign that postnuptial agreement in emails because I'm thinking like, I'm still talking to the therapist one-on-one because I'm trying to figure out like, I don't know if Melina is like getting mind fucked by this Tim dude. And yeah, I don't know if she's getting mind fucked by this Tim dude and there's still like some version of Melina that loves me, but it's like really confused and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, here's what we can do. Maybe we can do like, cause she was like, well, what if we just like go on a break? And I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe we can do a break for 6 months, but you're signing a post-nup because I'm not risking my assets on this guy. Sorry, I don't trust him. And I really don't even trust you right now because you've lied to me about almost this entire thing that you've done with him. And she's like, that's okay. I agree. We'll send the post-nup. We take care of like all that shit. She's here. I think over the next 2 days, we have a couple conversations with mutual friends. I start to feel better about things because now I have like mutual friends that are observing our conversations where I feel like it's pretty obvious that Melina is super unreasonable. This is all personal shit. It doesn't need to be said. We get to her almost leaving. I think it's like the day that I think the night she was going to leave. We're about to take off. She's like super upset. And then I'm trying to figure out at the end of the day, like what's going on or why you're upset. Like, you know, I think we know what we're doing at least, right? And she's like, I don't want to tell you. It's embarrassing. I'm like, what do you mean it's embarrassing? What's going on? And I find out that over the last 8 hours, I guess like Tim was cheating on her. Okay. With some random girl that he brought to her apartment, said he loved her, blah, blah, blah. And Melina's obviously like super upset about this. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, I thought this would take at least a few more months, but whatever. That pushes sideways. No. That happens that night. The next day, I feel like she's being a lot more warm to the boundaries and suggestions that I made. I think we sleep together that night. No sex, just like cuddly. We're more warm towards each other. It seems like she wants to talk to me and entertain some of my boundaries more. And then I think the next day, she was supposed to... I don't know if she was flying out to New York the next morning or not. I think she already was, or she might not have been. But the next day, she comes up to me and she's like, because during therapy, I'd made like a list of like, here's like the boundaries that I need. If we're going to do like open relationship and all this shit going forward, this is what I need to happen, or else we're just done because I'm not wasting my time with anything else. And also like these boundaries are like bare minimum just to even start a relationship. This isn't even to have a good relationship. This is just like bare minimum shit. And if you're not willing to do these, like I'm walking, this is stupid. She's more open to my boundaries. And then she talks to me and she's like, well, here's like, these are the things that I want from you in a relationship. And when she starts talking to me about these things, they just sound like the dumbest things in the world. Like, I don't understand what's going on. So like, for instance, like one of the things she'll say is like, I need somebody who doesn't judge me for not working as much. And I'm like, I've never judged you for that, except for like the only time I've said this the last 2 months, I got worried because it seems like she was like quitting a lot of her stuff and just spending all of her time, you know, staying up till 5 a.m., like being lazy and having her life be destroyed. Like it's only been the last 2 months, but like it's a ton of stuff that I've complained about for the last 2 months that she's pretending is happening like the entire relationship. And then she hits one thing where she's like, I need somebody who is willing to give me like a lot of freedom and stuff. And I'm like, what? Tim gets motion sickness so bad he can't even get in Ubers. He can't even get in cars. Like Melina likes, like sex, drugs, and travel. Tim doesn't do drugs. He doesn't fly in airplanes or get in cars because he gets motion sick. And he's definitely not open or polyamorous. So what the f is even happening? Why would you tell me? That you need more freedom? Like I've literally let you have a second husband. Like what the fuck? I don't understand that. And she's like, well, I don't know. And then I bring up like you can't even hang out with that one girl without, without him letting you. And then she's like, well, I can understand why he doesn't want me hanging out with that person. And I'm like, what do you mean you can understand why? I don't like, what's the possible reason? And then Melina's like, because you were talking to her about Tim. And then 2 huge things go off in my mind. So the first, and I hate it, Melina has lied to me so much over this thing, and she's so bad at lying, okay? Which is a little endearing, because I don't think she lies much, or at least not in these like more convoluted or complicated situations. So the first issue is that like, I talked to this other girl like 2 weeks ago. That doesn't explain why he doesn't let you hang out with her for the past 2 months. So 1, you're lying, number 1. And number 2, how does he know that I was talking to this person? And then, she does like the trickle truth. She's like, well, obviously they're friends, so they're going to talk. And I'm like, no, because that friend was the one saying that we should delete the DMs because they didn't want to make it dramatic. And I was like, well, yeah, but like I'm friends with all them, so I told them to talk. And I'm like, do you mean that you told him everything that I said to that person? And she's like, well, yeah. And then at this point, I'm like, you're doing more damage control for this guy. You're doing more you can to build him up to your friends. And he knows more about our relationship than I know about you. And then I got, at that point, I'm like, I'm unhinged. I fully admit I am ultra unhinged now. I tell her that, she needs to pack all of her shit and get the f out. I'm leaving for 2 days. If I come back and she's still here, I'm going to like word both. I say a lot of shit, okay? Yeah, I'm unhinged. I fully admit I'm super unhinged. I hope she has a recording of it, okay? If she wants to leak it, knock herself out. I'm super unhinged. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, you absolutely need to be the out of this apartment with all of your shit, because whatever you don't have packed, I'm throwing the away. Okay. I'm setting it on fire. Just let you know. She gets a little moody. I think she eventually goes to bed. I come to my computer. I'm like, don't talk to me the rest of the night. I'm already flying out the next morning to go to LA, and I don't give a that night, I think I also DM her a quick thing. Because another friend was telling me, remember, all these other friends keep telling me like, well, no, Melina's reasonable. You just need to talk to her better, blah, blah, blah. And then I think that I messaged Melina. I was like checking on something, and I was like, because this other friend was like, oh, well, like, for instance, Melina said that she just wanted to try like a 6-month break for you guys to get your head on straight. And I'm like, okay, all right. Also pay attention, because I think the details in the next like 2 weeks are kind of important, so you can kind of understand why I was like going back and forth on things so much. So I messaged Melina, and I'm like, hey, so just curious, you said we were going to go on a break. Are you going to restrict yourself like romantic and sexually from this other guy that you said that you also needed a break from? And she was like, I understand why you think that, but no, I don't think I can do that right now. And I'm like, okay, I understand. So when you say a 6-month break, what you really want is you want to go try a relationship with him, and then if that doesn't work, then you want to come crawling back to me. That's not happening. We don't do that shit, okay? You way too much of this up, and he's way too much of this up for that to ever be a consideration. Why ask her that? Just curious, because it's really good to get a lot of things in writing, because one thing that Melina will do is if I don't explicitly ask something, she'll lie about what she would have said later, even though I know what her answer was. So for instance, Melina has said to a lot of mutual friends and to me that if I would have told Melina that she shouldn't go back to Sweden when she left Miami after TwitchCon, that she would have stayed here. That's a fucking lie. But I didn't explicitly ask her that. But she'll say like retroactively, like, oh no, I would have said it, but she'll do that shit. So we have a conversation that's probably like 2 pages, I think. And I admit I am fully unhinged. I've already referenced this conversation. I'm super unhinged. I'm like calling her selfish cunt. I think I said this guy, I hope you guys kill yourselves, blah, blah, blah. I'm like unhinged. She's answering everything perfectly, like very diplomatically, very kind of like lukewarmly, like, oh, I love you, like denying that she's done things that she's already admitted she's done, all of this. I later realized that it's because she's going to use these logs to send to all of our mutual friends to show that I am actually the super unhinged one and that she was the one trying everything the whole time, which they might actually believe because I've never shit-talked Melina prior to this whole episode, and she's obviously dumping me the whole time, right? Are you ever going to leak that? What, my unhinged messages at the end? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really want, like I said, I don't really want like all this shit, but like I think I can read you some to get an idea of like how unhinged I'm being. Let's see. Here's like an example of some of the things I'm saying. Keep lying and keep coping. Misquote every single thing I've ever said. It's fine. I'm sure you've rehearsed this story over and over again with all of your liar friends you've been crying to farm sympathy. And then in quote, I had no idea I had to tell you that I moved someone into the apartment. I didn't know I needed to tell you if I'm replacing you with another husband. Honestly. Then I say, it is such an unbelievable cope. I can't believe you're this stupid, which is even sadder because it means you're just a selfish, evil, manipulative like so many other people are in my life. And then her response to all of these are like, they're so good. They're perfect. Okay. These are super good manipulative responses. She says, I'm sorry if I hurt you. If I could have changed things, I would have. And I wish you could trust me. I don't regret anything I've ever done with you or any of the time we've had together. It's like all of her responses are like this. They're so good. They're perfect to like make me look unhinged. After like she gives like a whole paragraph response of like all of this. And then my response to this, like, nothing is okay. You're disgusting to me. I just want you to leave my apartment without destroying my shit. Please stop with these cringe Hallmark works. Or words. I don't care what your cringe and stupid friends are telling you. Hopefully one day when you grow the up, you'll realize how little words mean if you don't actually do anything with them. Like these are like my messages. I'm unhinged, okay? Fully admit that. Yeah, fully admit that I'm super unhinged to these messages, okay? So if she ever leaks them to make me look bad, just know, okay? If you're a streamer, okay? That's why I'm unhinged here. Yeah. Somebody said that's not that bad. I'm like, you lying lympheo. You've cheated the entire time with this particular person. You know it. Maybe if you grow a spine one day and get a friend who isn't a simp, they'll tell you. She says, well, I paid rent too. I paid rent to stay and I offered that you could go elsewhere. And I said, you paid 10 months of rent because I knew you were gone after last month. You're gone as you were a month ago when you pathetically crawled back to this abusive loser. Also, I love your lying. I would have asked, if you would have asked me not to go back, I wouldn't have, but now you couldn't even not go constantly during our supposed break. I wonder how long you can get away with being just pretty and getting everyone to suck up to you. It's actually insane how delusional you are. Again, I'm unhinged. Yeah, Jesus. What's sad is that you won't get the out of my apartment tonight and you're wasting my fucking air by staying here. Yeah, I'm unhinged. I fully admit it. I am. These are unhinged DMs, okay? And her responses are really good, yeah. But anyway, that happens. I fly out, and then I think I do... What's the first thing I do in LA? It's not Jubilee. It's something else. What's the first thing I do? Oh, I do the whatever show. I do that debate, drive back, hang out with people the next day. I do Jubilee. Over the course of Jubilee, okay, this stuff is a little important, okay? Also, that night when I was on Hinge No DMs, that's when I started typing shit in DGG chat, because I'm like, all this, okay, these people, okay? I'm really paranoid that she's gonna say something publicly. I don't know how many people she's talking to. I hear her on the phone talking to and crying to everybody, like farming sympathy. And I'm really paranoid that she's like telling a whole bunch of people that I'm a horrible abuser. And so I get in DG chat, I'm like, start typing like that, okay? After Jubilee, okay, after I've had like 2 or 3 days, okay, this is like a blessing and a curse for me, okay? I usually forgive and I move past stuff and I chill. My mental baseline is like very, very high. And as long as I can sleep for a few days, I'm usually pretty chill a couple of days later. And I started to feel that way over a lot of this stuff. At least as far as like me leaking public stuff. So at this point, I think Melina's removed me and blocked me from everything, which is fine because I think she's getting a lot of hate on social media. And then I passed a message along via a mutual friend, and basically it's like a long message saying like, hey, listen, it probably wasn't right for me to leak anything publicly. You've just been hurtful to me because of these actions. I feel like this hasn't been fair. But I understand if, you think that I've been unfair. If you want to reconnect at some point, I'm not going to like spam your DMs or whatever, but but whenever that happens in a month or two, maybe we talk again. Good luck. Sorry that I blew everything up publicly, or remove any hate threads so that your shit isn't getting spammed, okay? So I say all that because I'm feeling like, okay, I gotta calm the fuck down. And I don't want this to like blow up into like weeks worth of dumb drama. After I do that, after I ship that message, I start getting DMs from, I think 3 to 4 mutual friends saying that Melina has called these friends and said that everything that leaked from the DMs in my chat, all of those things were lies, and that I was actually the super abusive person. I'm starting to see this and I'm starting to get irritated when I see this. And I'm like, okay, well, this is really fucking annoying that she's now saying I'm lying about shit that's so obviously not a lie. And then when I see those DMs, now I'm flying back home, and I think I get back on December 11th. I think I shoot a text to our therapist. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm just curious if you want to have like a final chat just with me, because I think I'm about to go nuclear and just talk about the last 4 months of my life with my wife. Okay, we need to have a chat. I have a chat with our therapist. It lasts about 3 hours. And basically in my mind, what I'm trying to figure out is, like, is Melina right now just like kind of confused and getting mind f***ed with this other weird dude, but there's like some part of her that like still loves me and wants to work in a relationship in the future, blah, blah, blah. Or is Melina actually like a super selfish piece of shit? And is Melina like the best, coolest person in the world as long as your interests are aligned, but as soon as they become disaligned, she becomes like a toxic, manipulative, abusive piece of shit. And I don't know which one of these is true right now. And if Melina is actually like kind of chill and she's just like in a mind mood, I need to chill and not like permanently destroy any type of chance for reconnecting in the future. If she is the other evil thing, fuck it. I just want to say my piece and move the fuck on, because I don't want to make myself like emotionally reserved for her for months and months for no fucking reason, right? So I have that conversation with the therapist. This is probably a good 3-hour chat. And by the end of it, I'm like, okay, maybe Melina's just on some confusion shit, whatever. All throughout this time, she's always told me, like, oh, like, I think we can still work on stuff. We just need a break. We can come back and reconnect and I'll figure out where I'm at, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck it. And I think this is where on my stream, I think after this, I do the cuckafesto, where I basically cuck out. I come out and I'm like, I shouldn't have leaked anything. I'm not going to say anything. I know I teased you guys. I'm not going to blah, 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 blah. And I kind of like say I shouldn't have leaked anything publicly, basically. And she, and that's what I say. And that was what was this December 12th or was this December 11th, I think? I think it might have been December 11th. And I say that, I chill. And then after that, I'm just like, calm down. I figure Melina can do her shit. She signed post-nuptial agreement, so my assets are safe. And I'll just like stream. I have access to my apartment again. We're either on break or she's like never coming back, but that's fine. At least like if I find like another chick that I really like, I'm gonna start having more serious conversations, maybe, blah, blah, blah. But I'm basically just gonna like move as though I'm single for the next few months, and we'll see what she does in the future. I don't know. I'm not gonna like make that commitment. But I'm not gonna like super like burn the bridge down and like completely go nuclear. And you know, if there is any part of her that like might still love me or want to work in the future, I don't like nuke that right now out of respect for one of that, right? So that's why I do the Cook stream. I have my birthday. I do a couple streams. And then I think on the 14th or 15th, somebody shares with me, this is like a 6 days ago, I think. On the 14th or 15th, somebody shares with me, I think this was on the 13th, messages that Melina had typed to this person. This was after I did my cuck stream. And basically, to summarize, Melina's basically saying, Steven's lying about everything. He's nuking me publicly for absolutely no reason. I blocked him everywhere. I don't ever want to interact with him ever again. I've never felt so horrible at a person. As more time passes, the more angry I get. I don't know if I should go public and correct all the lies he said. I'm not even sure what to do. I've just stayed silent. I hate how people gave him credit for his stream yesterday. He didn't even do anything good. He didn't take anything back. He just stated that he wanted to nuke me and then talk with Stacy, who convinced him not to, even though I stayed silent and I signed the post up and paid everything back I owed him. I'm scared of him as a human being. I never thought he would be as insane as he is. I haven't even figured out how I feel about mutual friends yet. Like all of this, yeah. So, I understand what people mean now. I'm pretty sure that he knows. I just don't even think he cares. He told Tim to go kill himself, and that it's okay for his community to harass him yesterday. He's just handled this all in the worst way possible. I'm getting so much shit. Yeah. So after I see this, I'm like, this. I call a few divorce lawyers to figure out like what is my exposure to an alimony fight. I made a lot of money this year. What's going on? You know, I contact 3 different lawyers. Florida has like short-term marriage laws are not very favorable for alimony. We have no joint assets. We have no children. Her career hasn't been negatively impacted at all. She's made money the whole time. For a whole litany of reasons, if she wanted to fight, it would be a long fight and she would probably get nothing. Just because there's not like a strong or compelling case to be made for alimony in this case. So I'm like, okay, cool. If she wanted to. I send a mutual communication. I shoot divorce papers to her, and I'm like, hey, sign this, I'm done. We're done. Okay, I'm just whatever. I don't even tell her why. I just shoot the divorce papers over to her via an assistant, and I say, sign these, get them notarized, and we're done. She doesn't contest anything. She doesn't fight anything. She just whatever. We still haven't even talked to each other since she left, remember, because she blocked me. So we haven't even talked to each other for, I think, 10 days. She gets the divorce papers. She signs everything instantly. And then the divorce papers are filed. The Florida court accepts. And then boom. Okay, we're done. The next day, I get a message from a mutual saying, hey, Melina really wants to chat with you. She got another message this morning relating to her apartment and everything in Sweden. And now she is like, wants to chat. Also, Melina never really wanted to get a divorce. She just thought that you were upset. She's really sorry that she didn't reach out, blah, 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 blah. And then what I realized what happened was the Florida courts accepted the paperwork and everything the day before Melina got a notice relating to her apartment. And now she wants to DM and say that like she didn't want to do the divorce and blah, 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 blah. Even though she signed the papers as soon as she got them. So now at this point, okay, the quantum waveforms have collapsed and I see through and I understand everything that's going on. I totally get it. This was a few days ago, right? And I think I mentioned as much. Me and Melina get in a call. She basically tries to gaslight me for 35 minutes. Just unbelievable lies. And it's like funny as fuck. And I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, I can't believe you're not doing the moral thing. Like, you owe me this because I had to pay so much money to move out of the US and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, basically that. For I guess for context on that message, the funny thing is when our convo first started, she basically said, I'm just trying to figure out where you're at. And I'm like, what do you mean where I'm at? And she's like, well, you sent me a message 2 weeks ago. Remember the really nice one that I sent? And she's like, I'm trying to figure out like how much you feel like that still. And I'm like, I feel like the message I sent you 1 hour ago. Yeah, the message I sent her 1 hour ago was really harsh. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's boom. That's all that. There we go. That's all my bullshit. I think that's basically all I would ever have to say on most of this, without getting into a whole bunch of other random personal shit. Tim did an interview with Henry Resilient saying that I was putting out a whole bunch of false claims and that none of what I said was true. In my opinion, not in my opinion, if I put out a claim and somebody says that, if I put out a claim and nobody wants to contradict it, then I'm pretty sure my claim is true. If I put out a claim and somebody wants to fight against that claim and they say, well, that's not true, then okay, then I guess we'll, go for evidence. I unfortunately don't have access to Melina and Tim's cell phones, so I can't prove that those texts were sent. However, Melina has talked to so many people about this, but unfortunately, I think she's lied to Tim about who she's talked to. So, for instance, Melina was really irritated when I was reaching out to mutual friends, and she had a conversation with some of her other friends. He's talking about Tim because Tim went dramatic a month ago and stuff. He's been a little dramatic since, but he's been improving all the time. I don't find it abusive. I think Steven has made me feel 100 times worse by his actions. So it feels so weird that he has so many opinions right now. And then Melina says, Tim had a breakdown a month ago where he gave me an ultimatum. When I didn't take the option he wanted me to, he had a breakdown where he said that he was suicidal. After that, he tried to beg me to come over. I said no, but he didn't really respect it and he kept pushing, etc. After that, he chilled out. When I was at TwitchCon, he went off on me saying that poly was bad for kids. He took it back when I said that he was acting manipulative. Later that week, he invited a girl over that I really wanted to see, and it seemed like he only did it to get a reaction out of me. He apologized for it, and we all hung out, and it was fine. I also found out that he had talked some bad stuff about me behind my back to a close friend of mine, which felt a bit controlling. After that, he had one more breakdown when I had to work instead of hanging out with him like I promised. That's like the worst things pretty much, so I understand. But things have gotten better. He says that he wants to change and get better. He apologizes and recognizes his mistakes and says he's learning and he wants to be good. And I see improvement every day, and that's what I'll go by. Then there's plenty of things that he brings to my life that makes me happy. Yeah. So she basically, every single thing that I just said, okay, is part of that. And yeah, so I have so many different conversations of Mel talking to other people or other people talking about this that Mel has communicated with, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know why anybody would try to deny any of this stuff when it's like so obvious what's happened. And yeah. I think he's mentioned something about not living there. Oh, this is one super stupid part that I left out of the story. One super stupid part that I left out of the story was I told, Melina asked me when she was here in Miami, after Tim had threatened to kill himself, after he'd done all the manipulative shit, Melina was like, hey, you should add Tim on Discord and then you guys can have a conversation and then Tim will feel more comfortable at things. I'm like, are you gonna like make up with any of my friends? She's like, well, I don't know. I was like, okay, fuck it. I'll add this guy and chat with him and why the fuck not? So we chat for like 2 days. Kill me. Do you have any idea how hard it is to entertain these stupid conversations? But yeah, like he mentions in here, like, oh, when you came here, like I ran out of the apartment when you arrived, blah, blah, blah. For some reason, he tries to say like, oh, well, I didn't live with Mel. I don't live with Mel. That's not true. I don't know why he's saying that. He clearly does. He has a key and he lives there every single day and he's there when she's not in town. Yeah, I don't know. And then he also mentioned something about how I'm making up like the money thing. But again, I think the problem is I don't think he knows how much Melina told me because Melina probably lies to him. One of the conversations we had, I think it was on November 1st, Melina says, do you want me to tell you about Tim or would you rather me not? LOL. And I said, yeah, go for it. And she said, he had a bit of a cry today over financial stuff and he got very aggressive against me verbally. I kind of just ignored it. What financial stuff? And let him have a breakdown. Like, I said I pay for a lot pretty much and he should probably do his share, especially if he's here a lot. And it was just an interesting reaction. But yeah, I just got very cold. I wonder how much money he actually makes or has saved up. Yeah, he says he isn't making much now because he hasn't worked, and I told him that he needs to, especially if he's going to demand things from me and all. He called me greedy and spoiled, LOL, for making more than he does. And I'm like, I don't want this dynamic, it's not okay for me, and he had his breakdown. I said I'm going outside to eat, he can come talk to me when he stopped crying. He came down later and apologized and said I was right, LOL. Jeez. Oh yeah, and it's interesting too, he seems to have zero interest in the other friend that I said that he was mind-fucking her with, but he also doesn't want me to see her alone, and like, Blank and I want to hang out so much. We're like texting every day, good night and good mornings. And it's a bit weird because she probably feels like he doesn't like her, I'm not sure. Up here, I responded and I said, yeah, this is exactly what I said yesterday, LOL. He's never going to let you go alone. He might be scared of you hanging out with other people alone, and he probably doesn't really like it when you guys hang out with others or in a group. He wants it to mainly be one-on-one. Yeah, maybe, but oh my God. Yeah, maybe, but oh my God, I really, really want to see her. I've been like crushing all day, so I'm just frustrated. Just go and see her. Why let Tim stop you? Hopefully I get to see her this weekend. I was close to today, but my throat started hurting and stuff. I'll text her tomorrow. I really like this girl. She told me she wrote about me in her grateful journal. What's that? Well, things she's thankful for, blah, blah, blah. And then our conversation ends. But yeah, so like, yeah. Every single claim that I have made, I can back up with like 50 million different, what if she's lying to you and it's just a habitual lie? Every single thing that she's talked to me about, she's talked to a ton of other people about because she overshares like a motherfucker. She had the same conversation with another guy. He got upset when I said that he has to pay. He got upset when I said that I pay for most things / everything. And if he wants to be in my apartment and take up space for his stuff, he needs to pay his share. And he called me greedy and privileged. He seems to be more trouble than he's worth. I don't know. I'm just letting him cool off. He got extremely emotional for some reason. You're staying in someone's apartment. You can pay your way. By the way, he does live there. Yeah. Oh, and this is on... these stupid dates. 1/11. What is that, November? Or whatever the 11th month is on the 1st, right? Yeah, and I didn't even really tell him to pay rent. I just said to pay more for groceries. Oh, is this just from when you were together in Sweden, or is he living there now? I'm in Sweden now, back for a month, so this just happened. Oh, okay. But, okay. Yeah. I think I've like said most of what I need to say. There are other like abusive and manipulative things that this guy has done. There are other stories I could tell, but again, like I feel like I've already like mined quite a bit. I've already mined like quite a bit on this. There's like been so much shit, but yeah. I don't know if there's like anything else I need to. Yeah. Why does she talk to so many fucking people about your problems? Are you the reason Mel blocked TC Brady? Yes. Why does she talk to so many people about her problems? I don't know. It's an issue. She just like mines for validation for other people, but yeah. Okay. I think, I don't know if there's anything else I need to say on this. There was one final thing. Oh, yeah. The only reason I published these DMs is because I'm pretty sure within these, every single thing that I claimed about Tim, Melina has also said about Tim to other people. I'm not making anything up. I've never lied about a single thing related to any of this. I can't imagine either of them. This is why I kept saying that like they're not going to go public. They wouldn't go public. They never go public because I don't know why the fuck they would want to when everything I'm saying is obviously true and it just makes them look stupid. I don't know why the fuck you would do this. Yeah, dumb. Ayla Molina memes? There are no Ayla Molina memes. Henry, I did get finessed. True. Farha memes? I don't even know. I think that's it. I don't think there's like anything else. I feel like it's all mostly wrapped up. V memes, other people have just like, was this about you? The Seth Everman tweet, wish I knew a lot less about all things and people. That was almost certainly about me, but it was probably Tim and Melina doing damage control by telling Seth all the abusive and horrible things that I do. And I'm almost sure that's what that was about. So, yeah. How did you keep your composure so well on stream? The last toxic relationship I had, I was a fucking wreck in all walks of life. Honestly, I think a big part that helped was that one, I feel like over the past, especially year and a half, I feel like I've put in a lot of effort to my relationship stuff, and I feel like the other party hadn't as much. And then two, I feel like a lot of the areas of my life are really good right now, and if I like cut this thing out, it would be better. I mean, like it hurt for a while. Obviously, I was upset for a little bit. But I think when I had like a clear picture of everything, I was like, I'm not super, like, I mean, you can see that like this shit is fucked, right? And then when I look back and I was clear, I was like, this is retarded. Why the am I like, why am I doing all of this? Like, this is so wacky. I should just like do shit on my own. This is stupid. So yeah, I think it was fine. What does your life look like going forward? I don't know. Just gonna work a lot because that's what I do. I'm a worker. How are people able to gaslight you? The things you just described seemed really obvious. There's one thing that I've said that I'm going to hold hardcore going forward, and I'm not going to let people bully me on this one anymore, is when you're having a debate or a conversation, even if it's a relationship one, I think I said this yesterday on stream, you should be able to lay down clearly, factually, things that have happened. And when people start fighting you or arguing with you about like, oh, you're gaslighting me, or oh, you're not talking about my feelings at all, I think those are manipulator tactics. You should be able to come to an agreement on factually things that have happened before anything else, and then you can have a discussion about the feelings and everything. But the issue is I feel like I had so many mutual friends that kept both sides in every disagreement that we had, even though I felt like there were so many disagreements. They're like, Melina is clearly in the wrong or lying here. I don't know if it's because people have like a desire to both sides things, or people like don't want to take a side and seem biased, or if people legitimately are being finessed too well by Melina, or if I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I'm not sure. But also, I come off as really aggressive, and I come off as like really debatey, so I can see people being annoyed by that. I don't know. Chain Shot, thanks for the tier 5 sub, everybody. But I think I mentioned this before. For instance, like one of the big disagreements that me and Melina had were over like I hooked up with a person, and Melina said that I didn't tell her for 5 or 6 days afterwards. But it was 40 hours. It was like 2 days. Less than 2 days. Or like Melina said that like I ghosted her for 3 or 4 days. It was 1 day. It was 30 hours. I slept and then I woke up and I missed her. Like, and the problem is anytime we have a conversation with mutuals, well, because Melina will bring mutual friends in to moderate the discussions, and Melina's told them her version of stories. And then when we start talking, I understand why the mutuals are siding with her. Because if I'm legitimately ghosting Melina for like 3, 4, 5 days, like that's pretty wild. But like, I don't think I've ever gone 4 days without messaging my wife. I don't think I've ever gone 2 days without messaging my wife. That's crazy. But then I'm like, well, hold on. Let's like establish a fact pattern here. It was not 4 days, okay? It was 30 hours. I slept 1 day and then I texted you the next morning. But then as soon as I would try to bring up like these facts, people are like, okay, well now, Steven, it sounds like you're just debating. It sounds like you just want to be like an attorney or a prosecutor. You're not listening to how they feel about things. That would drive me crazy. I think if I date another woman in the future, if I end up dating, it's going to be somebody that's on the same wavelength of like, hey, we're both kind of like more discreet and more rigid in terms of like how we do like our fact pattern establishment before we argue about things. Like, I think it's fair for me to ask that. And I think my way is better. I think there's a lot of stuff in relationships that I think a long time ago I thought there's like one way to do it, and then my mind has been opened, but now like my mind was too open, and now I'm like there are multiple ways to do things, but some things are clearly wrong. There are some ways of doing parts of relationships that are just wrong, and you shouldn't do these, and you should work on these. And I think that this is one of those things that if you do this a lot, or if the other party does this, you should change them. Not being able to discuss an actual fact or an actual date or a time period, not being able to discuss that and having the other person say you're gaslighting them or you're denying their feelings or whatever because they don't want to discuss, like that's a red flag. I think you should never do that. Yeah, that's dumb. I think. Do you think her personal crisis had anything to do with how she got so warped in 2 months? Like she could lean on him in her crisis rather than you? Nah. Did Brittany moderate any of those talks? It sounded very Brittany. I would never trust Brittany to moderate any of my talks. No. Yeah. Why don't you date a man? True. Let's get that gay riz. Date someone more famous next time so we get more collab content. True. You should never let your friends moderate the conversation. talks again. They sound like dog shit. I think I just need to represent my side of the argument stronger, which I started doing more in arguments. I think even in some of the calls we've had, I think I even say where they're like, oh, well, I see both sides. I'm like, hold on. You can't, there are no both sides to this because she's saying 3 and I'm saying 7. Don't both sides this. I need you to like have a stronger stance here. I started saying that more though in conversations too. Yeah. Okay. I think that yeah, I think we're Gucci. I know there's a lot of other people that talk about shit. I might watch some of these VODs tomorrow. I'm not sure, but yeah. Read the mean message you sent about Tim getting a job. I don't remember what the last paragraph was. Maybe Tim should go and get a job, or you can both move into Tim's apartment since it's been sitting there unused, and since Tim's mom's cleans it once a week, it'll be an upgrade now because now you guys have your own maid. Among other things. I said more password. That's just like, it was a mean message. But I'm also like, the audacity to come back and say that I owe you some huge sum of money. Like, ugh. Why not watch some VODs now? Because I got shit I have to do tonight because I have, Were you serious about the Forsen stuff? No. The reason why Forsen and I can't be in person together is because I'm the one that coached him through all of the Minecraft speedrun stuff, and I don't want people to pick up on it, but... Address the blackmail claim quick. Okay, last thing and then I gotta leave. I should just do these tomorrow, but...
You saw the Melina Destiny thing. I don't know if you saw Destiny lightly threatening in a subtle way of saying, I wrote an 11-page manifesto on, you know,
yeah, he's blackmailing her.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's blackmailing her. He's saying there's unsigned, unfinished legal agreements, and we might talk about this more in 2 weeks.
Everything is signed and finished. The court's already accepted all of our paperwork. I don't know what he means by that, but okay.
And I have a document. Yeah, that's blackmail.
Yeah.
It's illegal. She should sue him, but
I don't know if she can sue him for anything specific, though, unfortunately.
She could sue him for blackmailing her.
It's
illegal. It's literally illegal.
I don't know if that's a hard one to prove, though, right?
I know where she could find a lot of evidence that this is a recurring intentional pattern of behavior.
Yeah, okay, you know, yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you for the legal expertise. All right, I don't care. All right, I love you guys. I think we're going to, but I think my whole schedule is like is rocky as fuck for the last like, for the next week, not last, for the next week. Tomorrow I've got some shit planned. I should be able to stream, I think, at noon tomorrow, hopefully. On the 23rd, it should be relatively normal. Actually, wait, the next week's not that rocky. The next 3 or 4 days should be pretty normal, but we'll see, who knows. All right, I love you guys, it's been fun. I hope that we're mostly done with all this, because this is kind of AIDS. If somebody wants to make a statement about things that they feel have happened, that they feel like I've done that are unfair, and you feel like you want to blah, 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 even though doing all this publicly is cringe, I acknowledge that is. I'm not going to like do a response video to every single thing. That's fine. You know, everybody has a chance to say their reason if you really want to. But if you claim that I lie, or if you lie about things, obviously I'm going to respond. I have no idea why he thought he was so confident that he could give an interview and blatantly lie about so many things and think that I didn't have any proof of anything. That is so wild to me. The only possible thing I can think of is Melina lied to him about how much I knew. That's the only possible thing I can think of. So, you know, consider, you know, what's going on. But yeah, I love you guys. It's been fun. Stay safe. Ripper gonna cappuccino, 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 my dude,